India, it's a film that government pushed in an unusual way. Film justifies policy in Kashmir and its fascist features. I knew that at this event, everyone praises government. There was apprehension and discomfort for me. They came up to me, thanked me for what I said. When you lose ability to speak, someone must speak up. When I saw the film, I imagined its Israeli equivalent spoke up as I come from a place that itself isn't reformed. Now, we can't speak for Israel. Israel will have to do its own batting. But India is a democracy. Nothing fascist about our policies, but the ecosystem was waiting for Nadav Lapid to speak again. They were glad once again and they lapped up every word. As if on cue, the lobby latched on to the criticism heaped by Lapid. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti claimed that the movie was a bid by the BJP to demonize Muslims. She went on to the extent of saying that diplomatic channels were being used to silence the truth. Now here are some of the others who've been called the toolkit lobby.
It was absolutely baseless movie, but Government of India, BJP leaders, even Amit Shah ji, they had supported this movie. That was the reason that this movie got so known movies all over the country. And this Mr. What is the name of this director, filmmaker of Israel? He has said very rightly. And image of the country, there is a question mark before the image of the country and even the Kashmir. They have divided even the Bollywood. One is communal Bollywood, one is secular Bollywood, one is supporting the Bharatiya Janata Party, one is opposing. It has never happened earlier.
Now let's open this up without wasting time. Dr. Anand Ranganathan needs no introduction really. Karan Verma, author, political analyst. Ratan Sharda will be with us shortly. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress Party. Ashwini Handa, senior leader of the Democratic Azad Party. Dr. Sumansi Raman and Vivek Srivastava, political analysts, complete the panel. Good evening, gentlemen. Dr. Ranganathan, as if vulgar propaganda was not enough, the man who was given the platform by the center, invited to judge a film festival, now says India's Kashmir policy is fascist.
Good evening, Pranesh. The Kashmir files, let's be very honest about it, is being labeled vulgar propaganda because it depicts truthfully and unapologetically the Kashmiri Hindu genocide. Had it instead shown 500,000 Kashmiri Muslims being raped, murdered and ethnically cleansed by their Hindu friends and neighbors and acquaintances, the same film would have been hailed as a cinematic masterpiece. For the attention-seeking Israeli amateur director Nadav Lapid to call the Kashmiri files vulgar propaganda is not only misplaced, it is an insult to 500,000 Kashmiri Hindu victims. Yes, art is subjective, of course. It may not appeal to every sensibility. And of course, one is perfectly justified in critiquing, even outraging at a film's technical, cinematic, directorial handling of a subject or a narrative. But to broad brush a film depicting a genocide as vulgar propaganda is, well, vulgar propaganda. Because then you are commenting on the story that is based on a fact of a genocide. Would you call, even if you hated the way Schindler's List was portrayed, would you call this Schindler's List or Pianist or Europa or Pawnbroker or Sophie's Choice vulgar propaganda? And in the case of Kashmir Files, by the way, the film has come after 3 years of painstaking research encompassing more than 725 videographed victim testimonies. Does Lapid know about the Nadimag massacre that Kashmiri Files truthfully depicts, where 23 unsuspecting Kashmiri Hindus were lined up on March 23rd and shot point blank? Does he know about Girija Tiku that Kashmir Files truthfully depicts, who was raped and cleaved into two by a mechanical saw after she was alive on June 25th? Does he know about BK Ganju that Kashmir Files truthfully depicts, who hid inside a rice barrel when jihadis came looking for him on March 17th after his Muslim neighbor informed on him? Ganju was shot dead. Rice laced with his blood was fed to his wife. Does he know about the slogans raised from mosque on Jan 19th? Ralif, Salif, Galif, deaths to Kafirs, Pandit, leave your women behind, Nizam-e Mustafa? And what's this other side of genocide that he wants also to be shown? That Yasin Malik, assassin of squadron leader Khanna, loved Dam Aloo. That Bitta karate killer of 42 Kashmiri Pandits was the son of a shawl weaver. Mr. Nadav Lapid, you belong to a country that scarred Alaska to Argentina to hunt down the last Nazi who perpetrated the Jewish genocide. From Eichmann to everyone else. And you insult those of my country whose perpetrators still roam free because the Supreme Court, our Supreme Court, rejected reopening cases of criminal atrocities against Kashmiri Pandits just 30 seconds. The Kashmiri Files is a mirror. For the victims, it reflects truth. For the perpetrators, it reflects guilt. And sadly, we live in a nation, Pranav, where you possess neither a shadow or a reflection if you are a Kashmiri Hindu. We live in a nation that waits for death to rid us of our remembrances. Kashmir Files has changed that, and that is why it has rattled so many. The Israeli ambassador is absolutely right. Nadav Lapid, you should be ashamed.
Protect the Kashmiri Hindus, not propagate a film. Don't promote a film. A government is supposed to lay down policies so as to protect the lives of Kashmiri Hindus. It is not some form of a marketing agency so as to promote a movie. What has happened in 2022? Why
No,
is it that
Lokesh Jindal, 1 minute.
Kashmiri Hindus
Now,
there?
Lokesh Jindal, 1 minute. Allow me to ask you a
Would
question.
you like to rebut?
Quickly,
Would you like to
Dr.
rebut the
Ranganathan.
instances?
Complete.
Would you now, Lokesh, let us stick to the topic. Let us not talk about what the government has done and not done, because please listen to me. Because you interrupted me, please have the patience to listen to me for a minute. No, 1 second. You interrupted
Okay,
me
let
with
him
your
make his point.
vulgar
I'll give you
rash.
time. Lokesh
Have the-
Jindal, I promise I'll give you time to rebut. Let him make his point.
Even before I was finished, Lokesh was so rattled as to interrupt me. Lokesh, 2 points here. Number one, we are discussing about the film being called vulgar propaganda. Okay, it is not about whether the governments have helped Kashmiri Pandits or not. I myself on record have said that no government, no party cutting across every politician has done enough, even a small amount for the Kashmiri Hindus. So I am with you on that. But the point I'm making is this. I cited 5 instances, truthful instances that happened, that led to and were in the middle of the Kashmiri Hindu genocide. Can you rebut me on even a single one before you call this film propaganda? It's a direct challenge to you.
Let him answer,
Can you
yes.
rebut Nadimag massacre? Can you
Let him answer now.
rebut
Dr. Ranganathan, let him answer.
Of Girija?
Wait,
Please answer.
listen. You cannot hold a religion or a particular ideology responsible for such form of a huge catastrophe on mankind. There is always multidimensional aspects to every event that occurs in history. If you are going to project only one unidimensional point of view, it is some form of a propaganda that is being promoted. Now, if I'm talking about this entire movie, the essence that comes out of it is putting Islam in a very bad picture. It is a clear-cut.
That is what hurts you. That is what hurts you. That is what hurts you.
Please do not interject.
As I said.
Please do not interject.
As I said. No, 1 second.
No.
You did not.
Please do not interject. You.
Okay, let him make his point. Yes.
The idea is, if the government is truly sincere upon the cause for Kashmiri Hindus, rather than promoting a movie, rather than fueling anger, rather than creating discontent and politicizing such sensitive issues, the government must come out with certain forms of steps and policies to redress this particular issue. But what it has done, it has resorted to all forms of marketing, promotion, which our government doesn't do.
Now, Lokesh Jindal, you've said your piece. Now, allow me to ask you one question. You were saying, 1 minute. Dr. Ranganathan, I just have one question for Mr. Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, you were talking about the other side. What is this other side? Dam Aloo that Dr. Ranganathan was talking about. What is this other side that you want to be highlighted? What is it?
See, when I'm
What is the other side of Bitta karate?
Socio-economic let me complete. There are socio-economic aspects. There are.
My God. Look at the justification. Shameless justification of the genocide. He's talking about social tensions. He's talking about economic reasons.
No. Listen to me. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, get it very clear.
If it was the economic reasons, then likewise, do you want Kashmiri Hindus to pick up the gun? Do you want Kashmiri Hindus to pick up the gun?
Tell me. spiritual benefit is peace. It is not a religion that is promoting any form of violence.
This is
So
absolutely
Lokesh Jindal, you are mixing up things. Lokesh Jindal, you are mixing up things. You are mixing up things.
You are politicizing this entire.
You are mixing up things, Lokesh Jindal. Ratan Sharda, socio-economic excuse for the genocide. I mean, Lokesh Jindal is going beyond Nadav Lapid.
Yes, yes, very true.
Sir, I think you are on mute.
Of Congress is
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, sir, we can hear you. Yes.
okay. What I said was that though I am smiling, my heart is bleeding, I am crying because Congress has lost its conscience. Its conscience is dead. For somebody to say that this has no politics, that no religion, people who perpetrated all this genocide, people who have created havoc, claim that it is in the name of Islam. Everything happened from the mosque. So where did Islam and where did terrorism came? Please, now please.
This is what is Islamophobia.
Please. When you speak the truth, it is Islamophobia. When you make a joke about Kashmiri Hindus, it becomes a fact of life. I do not understand exactly. You keep on speaking, you keep on elevating people, and you will keep on living in a la-la land. Now tell me, Congress today said that what Lapid said is true. Do you realize that by this you are saying that you believe in two-nation theory because all the laws in Kashmir were made because you said you want to disprove two-nation theory, but all your laws were meant for two-nation theory. You mean to say multi-dimension when you say by history till 1300th century Kashmir was a Hindu state, it became a Muslim state over a period of time, and you realize that zero population. Again, can you please keep your mouth shut for some time? Don't anger the people. Don't anger the people. Don't make a joke of cruelty perpetrated. Make a clearly said, show me one episode which is not recorded as a fact. I will stop making films. Take a challenge.
Yes.
Take a challenge. Don't think politics. Don't talk about what government did today.
Will you take that challenge? Will you take that challenge, Lokesh Jindal? Will you take that challenge? I am bringing in Vivek Srivastava.
Do you believe that
Okay, let him answer.
was wrong?
Ratan Sharda is answering.
No, he's not answering. He's playing politics. Tell me, is Jews Holocaust a myth? Are you saying that Jews museums all over the world showing Holocaust are a propaganda material? Are you saying people cut into pieces is a propaganda material? Are you saying the person who gets a woman in 35 pieces is a propaganda piece? Please stop this. Stop this hurting the sentiment of people who are stateless for last 30 years because of various government policies over here. And you have to go today. You don't understand 1990 what happened.
Okay, let him now answer.
Islamic Valley. Go read my book.
Will you deny the Holocaust? Did it happen or not? Lokesh Jindal?
Answer this question.
No, answer the question by all means. The question is for you. You have to answer.
You were talking to a person who makes a film for the Palestinians.
No, but Lokesh Jindal, I want to now go beyond the film.
Don't have one person's account.
I want to now go beyond the film and I want to bring in Vivek Srivastava. You take this time to make your pointers and I'll come to you. Lokesh Jindal, use this time. Now use this time. I'm giving you time to prepare this answer. Two direct questions, one by Dr. Ranganathan, another by Ratan Sharda. Prepare your answer. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. Hold your thoughts. Prepare your notes. Vivek Srivastava, is the Kashmir policy fascist?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I think first of all, the panelists are not very clear whether the debate is about what the jury member said, or it is about the film, or it is about the Kashmir problem. There is a big confusion on your panel. First of all, something wrong happened in the 1990s with the Kashmiri Pandits. The entire nation agrees to this.
About what happened? That's the only confusion I can see.
Don't preach and listen to me now. No, don't preach and listen.
Now, let's be
the whole nation stands with the Kashmiri Pandits. Do not try to have this narrative that there are people. You are interrupting me, Pranesh. You gave 1.5, 2 minutes to Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Have some shame and give me at least 40 seconds. Okay? Now don't interrupt. First of all, the nation stands with Kashmiri Pandits.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Now listen to me.
Rude. Stop being rude, please.
No, you got about 1.5 to 2 minutes uninterrupted, boss.
Okay,
Let
sir,
me
I am
have 30
ashamed.
seconds.
I am ashamed that I gave 3 minutes to Dr.
Yeah,
Ranganathan.
let me
Make
speak.
your point.
Why are you
Okay.
saying have some shame
Thanks.
or something like that? What did I do? Did I interrupt you?
Thank you,
Why are you
thank
saying
you.
have some shame to me?
Yeah. No, listen to me. No, Dr. Ranganathan, you need to be ashamed of why you need
I
to be
need to
ashamed,
be
I'll tell
ashamed.
you. You need to be ashamed
to be
because the
ashamed
whole
for-
nation stands, I'll tell you why. The whole nation stands with the Kashmiri Pandits, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the political party. Nobody agrees with what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits in this country. So do not spread the narrative that there are people who are happy that what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits was wrong or right. Okay? Number two, the discussion is about the
The
film.
whole nation
The
stands,
film
but
was
does
made
your
with a
nation
motive.
No,
stand?
Vivek
The motive
Srivastava
was
at the
to show-
cost of
No,
inviting
no,
your
listen to me,
wrath
sir.
again. No, 1 minute.
अरे
Vivek
भाई,
Srivastava.
सुनो।
Vivek Srivastava, sir, 1 minute.
Listen.
सुन लीजिए. At the
Listen,
cost
listen.
of inviting your wrath.
Yeah.
Vivek
हाँ,
sir, 1 minute.
हाँ.
At the cost of inviting your wrath, मुझे एक चीज आपसे पूछना है. ये रिलीजन
Yes.
की बात किया आपने अभी. कश्मीरी हिंदूज पंडित रिलीजन कहां से आ गया सर इसमें?
नहीं, you know,
अब आप फिर इस्लामोफोबिया बोलेंगे.
आप सुनिए, पूरा देश कश्मीरी पंडितों के कॉज के साथ खड़ा हुआ है, irrespective of the political party. ये नैरेटिव बंद करिए कि कांग्रेस, कम्युनिस्ट, समाजवादी पार्टी, आरजेडी, सेक्युलर लॉबी कश्मीरी पंडितों के साथ नहीं है. This is the wrong narrative.
Then condemn Nadav Lapid and all those
However,
people who have backed
when you
him.
make a movie with the wrong motive.
Take a stand.
Listen. आपने ये पिक्चर क्यों बनाई? No, please let me speak. This movie was made with an ulterior motive, a bad motive.
पर्दा डाल दो.
The motive was to
सच पे
show
पर्दा डाल
कि
दो.
कश्मीर में
आवाज
हिंदू
को दबा
पंडितों
दो.
के साथ इन मुसलमानों ने क्या करा, इसलिए अब पूरे देश में क्या होगा, तो आप रिलीजियस डिस्टर्बेंस को कॉज करने के लिए
अगर होना होता भाई साहब अब तक हो
No,
गया
no,
होता.
Vivek Srivastava, is history documented with an ulterior motive? What are you saying, Vivek Srivastava? When history is documented, when history is written, when things are put in black and white, is it done with an ulterior motive? What kind of an argument is this?
There is no black and white. The motive was to show
there you
मुसलमान
go again.
हिंदुओं के
Genocide did not happen.
इनको विक्टिमाइज करो.
Genocide did not happen according to you.
आप ये बताइए.
Did the genocide happen or not,
They
sir?
could not give
Either of the right and right.
Kashmiri
Either
Pandits could not be
presented
charged
Muslim Hindus well.
as soon as
Heather must be awarded, right? Government of India did not send Kashmir files to Oscar. Remember this. So don't blame government of India.
लेकिन
Are you saying?
पंडितों के साथ
Are you saying that Heather was better
I asked you a direct question. Is the Kashmir policy fascist? You have no answers. Dr. Sumansi Raman. Now, Dr. Raman, you've been listening to this intently.
Yes, it is
Dr. Ranganathan has spoken.
It is fascist.
Ratan Sharda has spoken. Mr. Jindal and Vivek Srivastava have put forth their views. Where do you stand on this, sir?
Look, it's very clear that we are unable to make the distinction between criticism of a film and what it actually represents. You can have the greatest of sympathy for the Kashmiri Pandits, but feel that the film was not a good one. That's perfectly all right. You don't, the two don't go together. Now, the point I'm trying to make is very simple. Look, it is virtually known to everybody that the purpose of the film being actively, quote unquote, promoted virtually by the government was twofold. One, the government was able to harvest the votes as a result of further polarization, which potentially is what the film would incite or lead people to. Second, it also helped the filmmakers make a lot of money. It is believed that somebody bought a 18 crore apartment or something on the basis of the money that this movie made, which is a tragedy of huge proportions, because you're profiting off a genocide which actually is a huge tragedy and a shame for this country. Now, Pranesh can probably request the panelists to tell me how many Kashmiri Pandits has this government repatriated to Kashmir in the last 8 years? How many have they resettled in Kashmir? Point number one. Forget sending them back and settling them comfortably and safely in Kashmir. They have not even been able to protect those who have stayed behind. Let me read a list like you allowed Anand Ranganathan ji to read a long list. I am sure you will allow me to read
Are you answering
the
the
killing of Makanlal Bindru on 5th October 2021. 5th October 2021 Virendra Paswan. 7th October 21 Satinder Kaur and Deepak Chand. 7th October Arvind Kumar Shah. 13th April Surinder Kumar Singh. 13th April 22. 12th May 22 Rahul Bhatt.
Okay, Ratan
17th
Sharda
May
is responding
22
to you.
Ranjit Singh. 31st May 22 Rajni Bala. 2nd June 22 Vijay Kumar. And then in October Purna Chandra Bhatt. Now, why were these people not protected? Can somebody answer this on the show?
I think we've lost that line with Ratan Sharda, but Karan Verma. Karan Verma.
Have neither been able
Dr.
to
Ranganathan, I'll
resettle
come to you after Karan
They
Verma.
have
Karan
neither
Verma.
been able to resettle them, nor protect those left in Kashmir.
Only lip service by the center, nothing been done. That's the charge, Karan Verma.
You know, Pranesh, when people like Vivek Srivastav sit here and they talk about all these virtues of liberalism, left-wing liberalism, and they don't speak a word about Article 35A and Article 370 that existed, that trampled the rights of Dalits, homosexuals, and they kept quiet for all these years, and they kept quiet and protested when this article was being removed. It exposes their shallowness. It shows that Vivek doesn't have an iota of Vivek in him. That is what it shows. This government removed Article 370 and 35A and corrected a historical injustice. Yes, a lot more deserves to be done, but we cannot dispute the fact that Article 370 being removed, Article 35A being removed, historical footfalls of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, highest investment in the state in the last 70 years, these are moves in the right direction.
There are no footfalls. There are no footfalls.
There are no,
Pranesh, can I please
Vivek,
come
you
in
can
now?
live in your utopian world.
Why is
you can
nobody
live in your
answering my
utop-
question?
You know, Pranesh, what
Can
this
I-
Lapid
No,
filmmaker
it's not
has done is,
utopia.
he has
It's not
exposed the
Answer my
Jaisons within our
question.
country. These
Answer my
Jaisons,
question.
Okay, Dr.
These
Ranganathan,
Jaisons
can
who
you
started
answer
lapping
the question
the
asked
moment-
by Dr. Raman?
Absolutely. Can I please request
No,
my
no, why are
esteemed
you
fellow
against the
panelists
freedom
to
of
give me...
expression?
Can I speak? Can I speak?
No, no, why?
You know, I'm answering the
expression?
question.
Why can't
Vivek-
Mr. Lapid speak?
हांडा साहब आ रहा हूं आपके पास. हांडा साहब आ रहा हूं आपके पास. Give me 2 minutes. I am coming to you, हांडा साहब.
नहीं, डॉक्टर रंगनाथन को
I'm-
फिल्म अच्छी लगी, मुझे खराब लगी. He can praise it, I can criticize it. What's wrong in it? If a jury member criticizes it and feels
फिल्म की बात नहीं है, प्रोपेगेंडा की बात हो रही है. You can't be a denier of
Why
the
don't you
genocide
call
that
him and
happened.
interview him?
And especially a
Why
foreign
don't you
person.
call him?
This is the
Ask him
problem.
why he
No,
said,
no,
why are you
my
so
turn to
scared of
speak.
this Lapid
Let them
man?
interview.
sponsored.
Why are you so scared of an individual?
No, no,
Call
Dr.
him,
Raman, we
interview
tried.
him.
We
Interview
tried. We
Lapid.
tried. We couldn't
Interview
get
and ask him why he
through.
said it.
Dr. Raman, we will do that. We are still trying to get in touch. We will ask him those questions.
Today also he has
Dr.
released
Ranganathan,
Jaisons of
Dr.
our
Ranganathan
country.
coming in. Okay.
Ask him why he
Okay,
said what he
let's
did.
not waste time. Dr. Ranganathan with a quick rebut. Yes.
Yes, I've, you 2 minutes ago you gave me time and those 2 minutes have been taken up by interruptions. Can I please request my fellow panelists to not interrupt me, because I am going to agree with a lot of what you guys have said. Please give me 2 minutes. It's very important, Viewers cannot understand anything if all of us are speaking over each other. So number one, Dr. Sumant Raman, I agree with both your points. But unfortunately, both your points are superfluous. Number one, I absolutely agree with you that one can have as much sympathy and compassion for Kashmiri Pandits at the same time say that a film is bad. I said it so myself. I said one should be free to criticize the film, to outrage on it. Number two, when you talk about the fact that what has been done for Kashmir, I am before you, years before you, have said that no government, including this government, has done anything for the Kashmiri Hindus. Nothing. I have said it on record for, years before you. Now, can I please take a minute that is left of me, of my time, to rebut something very important that my good friend Mr. Jindal said? Because this goes to the heart, Pranesh, and this has to be rebutted unequivocally. He said everything is fine except that the genocide and the ethnic cleansing was not because of Islam. Let me now quote verbatim from the architect of ethnic cleansing and genocide, Gaali. This is from his own book, Nawai Hurriyat. Number one, India is a bigger enemy of Islam and Muslims than even Israel. Now stop interrupting here. Now, Pradesh, you have to stop him.
Mr. Jindal, you asked her, you made a point, he's responding to you. Now, if you keep interrupting.
You have to fade him out because otherwise your viewers will be left uninformed.
Are you the anchor?
No, let him make you asked him, you had a point of view, he has a point of view, Lokesh Jindal.
Absolutely rubbish. This guy just comes to interrupt. Now, when I'm being polite to you, calling you my friend, at least respect that. Did I interrupt you? I'm answering your question only. Why are you rattled? I'm quoting from Gilani. 2. Muslims are a qawm, wholly separate from the Hindus. Muslims are a complete separate nation on the basis of their religion. 3. Pakistan was created for the hegemony of Islam and for establishing the Islamic system. Number 5. Kashmir must become an Islamic state. Our struggle is for the sake of Islam. I plead with the Afghan Mujahideen to come forward to help liberate us from India. ये सब इस्लाम के नाम पे हो रहा था. Ignoramus, Mr. Jindal. Law नहीं जानते क्या हुआ? Don't try and airpress the atrocity that was based on a religion.
Yes, Lokesh Jindal, yes, respond, yes, of course.
Look, Dr. Ranganathan, history has given us ample proof that religion has been used as a tool for a particular ideology. So we have radicals in every religion. We have radicals
now you are shifting.
Amongst the Hindus as well.
Wait a minute. Earlier you were saying it had nothing to do with religion.
Among Jains,
earlier you were saying
every religion has had radicals.
By the end of the show, Dr. Ranganathan, by the end of the show, Lokesh Jindal will be condemning everything Nadav Lapid said.
Don't look for an equivalence, Lokesh.
For example,
Lokesh, don't look for an equivalence.
Please do not interject.
When I rebut you, when I quote Gilani verbatim,
every religion has
quote Gilani verbatim, what do you have to say to that?
For their own particular...
Lokesh, don't resort to this every religion retort.
I don't know why you
don't look for this equivalence.
In Islam,
it was radical.
Okay, he's had a change of heart. Okay, he's had a change of heart. Lokesh Jindal has had a change of heart, change of view. That can happen. It's okay. It can happen. At least he's admitting. Now, Ashwini Handa, sir, I'm sorry I couldn't come to you earlier. 1 minute. Ashwini Handa, sir, 2 basic questions. Vulgar propaganda was said about the film and Kashmir policy is fascist.
देखिए रिस्पेक्टेड पैनलिस्ट और डॉक्टर रंगनाथन से मैं पूरी तरह से सहमत नहीं हूं जिस तरीके से इन्होंने आतंकवाद को धर्म से जोड़कर देखने की कोशिश की है।
हांडा साहब, मैं आपसे, आप डॉक्टर रंगनाथन से पूछ लीजिएगा, मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूं, आप नदव लापीद ने जो बोला है 2 दिन में, 2 चीजें जो उन्होंने बोली है, आप उससे सहमत हैं?
हाँ, उसका ही जवाब देने जा रहा हूं। जो वल्गैरिटी का शब्द उन्होंने इस्तेमाल किया है वो सरकार के लिए क्या है, जिस तरीके से सरकार ने इस फिल्म को प्रमोट किया अपने मकसद के लिए, ये सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न जो वल्गैरिटी का
हांडा साहब मुझे एक बात बताइए, विवेक श्रीवास्तव किया गया है। 1 मिनट, हांडा साहब सुन लीजिए आप, एक करके देखिए, आसानी होगी, आप एक पॉइंट बोलेंगे, आई विल हैव 1 पॉइंट, तो फिर आसानी होगी सर, नहीं तो मैं भी भूल जाऊंगा, आप भी भूल जाएंगे। आपको कंटेंट से प्रॉब्लम है, नैरेटिव से दिक्कत है, या जो गवर्नमेंट ने प्रमोट किया, इज दैट अ प्रॉब्लम?
देखिए सर, ये इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज किसने किया? सरकार ने।
इवेंट तो ऑर्गेनाइज किसने किया, ये तो अब हिंदू भाइयों से पूछिए, बताएंगे किसने ऑर्गेनाइज किया जेनोसाइड।
सरकार के, सुनिए, इनवाइटी किसके कहने पे आए? सरकार के, किसकी प्रेजेंस में ये कमेंट दिया गया? सरकार के इंफॉर्मेशन मिनिस्टर के सामने ये जो है वो कमेंट किया गया। तो आखिर ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी, भारत की सरकार को ये इस बात का इल्म ही नहीं था कि इस तरह का कमेंट भी आ सकता है। मैं तो दाद देना चाहता हूं लुपिन की, जिसने पूरा ये इनका जो पारदर्शिता के साथ ये कहा कि फिल्म की जो
ये देखिए, यही आपकी बात एक्सपोज कर देती है आपको। अभी आपने शुरू किया, आपने बोला कि सरकार ने बुलाया, फिर आप अभी दाद दे रहे हैं उसकी, तो आप दोनों चीज तो नहीं कह सकते। आप अग्री कर रहे हैं नदव लापीद ने जो बोला।
एक मूवी इसलिए बनाई जाती है कि सोसाइटी में वो अच्छा मैसेज दे। मूवी किस लिए बनाई जाती है? मूवी इसलिए बनाई जाती है कि वो सोसाइटी में
हर एक मूवी का, हांडा साहब, हर एक मूवी का अपना पर्पस होता है। हर एक मूवी का अपना पर्पस होता है हांडा साहब। हर एक मूवी हंसी मजाक के लिए नहीं बनती है, हर एक मूवी का एक पर्पस होता है। डॉक्टर रंगनाथन भी कुछ कह रहे हैं, ही इज मूव्ड बाय योर कमेंट्स।
मूवी का मैटर था वो सेंसर बोर्ड को देखना चाहिए था, लेकिन आज सेंसर बोर्ड में कौन ले रहा है? सेंसर
हांडा साहब प्लीज मेरी बात सुन लीजिए, आपने मेरा नाम लिया, मैं आपकी बहुत कदर करता हूं, प्लीज सुन लीजिए। 2 पॉइंट। नंबर 1, चलो कम से कम ये तो प्रणेश ये सब मान रहे हैं कि डेमोक्रेसी इज अलाइव एंड किकिंग इन दिस कंट्री। व्हेन अ गवर्नमेंट स्पॉन्सर्ड फिल्म फेस्टिवल पे कोई आके फिल्म को कहे वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा और गवर्नमेंट उसको अरेस्ट करके तिहाड़ जेल में ना डाल दे, इसका मतलब डेमोक्रेसी इज अलाइव, फाशिज्म तो नहीं है कम से कम। नंबर 2, I have no objection to Handa Saab saying that the government is indulging in vulgar propaganda. Say it.
Yes.
I have no objection. Yes. Political parties indulge in, BJP also indulges in vulgar propaganda. Say it. But this is not what the Israeli director said. He said the Kashmiri files is vulgar propaganda, Handa Saab. That is what I object to.
No, रंगनाथन साहब मुझे ये बताइए कि इस फिल्म से फायदा क्या हुआ है? सिर्फ और सिर्फ
मैं बताता हूं फायदा क्या हुआ, मैं बताता हूं फायदा क्या हुआ, अब आप लिखिए। मैं 3 पॉइंट्स बताता हूं सर, अब आप लिखिए, मैं बताता हूं फायदे।
नुकसान हुआ वो कश्मीरी,
मैं फायदे भी बताता हूं, नुकसान भी बताता हूं। मैं बताता हूं हांडा साहब, अलाउ मी टू स्पीक। फायदा ये हुआ है सर, जो लोग अभी तक डिनायल में थे, जिनको पता नहीं था,
करेक्ट,
वो तो देखिए, पहला ये हुआ है कि जिनको पता नहीं था उनको पता चल गया है। दूसरा ये हुआ है जो अभी तक डिनाई कर रहे थे वो एक्सपोज हो गए। और तीसरा ये भी हुआ है, जिन लोगों ने ये होने दिया वो भी एक्सपोज हो गए हांडा साहब। और आप जानते हैं, आपके तो कुछ दोस्त भी हैं। आज देखिए महबूबा मुफ्ती ने भी क्या कमेंट दिया। महबूबा मुफ्ती ने कमेंट दिया, शी शुड हैव, एज द फॉर्मर चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, महबूबा मुफ्ती शुड हैव ट्वीटेड टू टेल नदव लापीद दैट लुक, stop lecturing India. There's nothing fascist here. We are a functioning democracy.
But he is not lecturing India, for God's sake. Sorry, he is not lecturing India. He is talking about a film, for God's sake.
But Dr. Sumansi Raman, after the film on genocide, he also went on to say that our Kashmir policy is fascist.
He called it propaganda.
देखिए प्रणेश सर, इससे एक्सपोज सिर्फ हुआ है वो गैंग।
1 minute, he called it propaganda film.
हेटर गैंग जो है वो एक्सपोज हुआ है इस,
he did not talk about.
Okay, Ratan Sharda, was he only talking about the film?
कश्मीर में इंटरेस्ट, देखिए कश्मीर
लेट द पैनलिस्ट डिसाइड,
के बीच का मसला है, उसके ऊपर हम कोई भी बयानबाजी नहीं करनी चाहिए।
ठीक है, रतन शारदा ना रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू डॉक्टर सुमंसी रमन। ओके हांडा साहब 1 मिनट, रतन शारदा रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू सुमंसी रमन।
पीपल ऑन द अपोजिट साइड
चाहते हैं कि आखिर
पीपल ऑन द अपोजिट साइड आर सेइंग डिफरेंट थिंग्स।
संगार हुआ है
रमन से
इसके बाद जब से मूवी आई है,
फिल्म का प्रॉब्लम है, मिस्टर हांडा कहते हैं गवर्नमेंट का प्रॉब्लम है। ऐसा पहले आपस में डिसाइड कर लो उसने बोला क्या। प्रणेश आपने उनका डायलॉग सुनाना चाहिए, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, आप कहते गवर्नमेंट ने सपोर्ट किया, गवर्नमेंट ने ऑस्कर में भेजा, नहीं भेजा, गवर्नमेंट ने इसी में सिलेक्ट किया, नहीं किया, गवर्नमेंट ने कोई प्रमोशन किया, नहीं किया, क्या हिंदू लोग गन लेके उतरे, नहीं उतरे। यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द सोसाइटी बॉस, यू डोंट इवन नो व्हाट इज हिंदू सोसाइटी। आप यहाँ के भाषण पेश देते हैं, आपको पता चली कैसे ये फिल्म people have booked bulk booking for theaters and gone together as groups. They have gone together as groups and made the movie success. Neither government, neither you could make a film success. It was purely from the heart that people went to the theater in bulk. They purchased the tickets in bulk and went to see the movie. Cried together. There was no BJP there. There was no Congress. A pure people's movement to make the film success. That is what is rattling you. What is rattling you? Oh, you know one particular leftist guy has got. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling Mr. Raman.
Profiting of the suffering is not wrong.
If this film had flopped, would you pay him? If film had flopped, you pay him?
No, Dr. Raman is profiteering vulgar propaganda.
It was made, according to you, it was made for a purpose.
No, so you are saying profiteering is vulgar propaganda, not the message that the film has.
No, sir. Pradesh, let us be clear. Mr. Lapid.
Sir, Vivek Srivastava is saying something else. Mr. Handa has another theory. Lokesh to another level. Dr. Raman.
No. Nothing. Nobody has answered my question so far, except Dr. Ranganathan, who agreed with much of what I said.
Yes, but I want to check here because you are venturing. No, you are venturing on very, very dangerous territory, Dr. Raman, because what you're saying is that the author of Schindler's Ark who actually got millions in royalty because of his book on which the movie Schindler's List was based, you are saying that all that money, all that royalty, he should have paid back.
What about
to the
the
Jews
maker of Schindler's
which he
List?
wrote about?
What about Steven Spielberg?
I asked you a question. I asked you a question.
What did
Answer
Steven
the question.
Spielberg do? He did give it back.
Answer the question. Steven
did
Spielberg,
Heather's money
author of
go?
Schindler's Ark.
Anand, just a moment.
Would you
The question
Where
is,
did
do not
Heather's
answer
money
it.
go?
we are talking about
Did Heather's filmmaker give
movie
it
to
to
a
the
Answer this
movie.
question.
Movie to a movie. Where does the
Movie
book
to a
come in?
movie. Where is the
Movie.
movie?
No, but Dr. Aman,
Did
that's a fair
Spielberg
question to
give
ask.
it back?
Is the money blood money? Are you calling it blood money? Are you calling it blood money, Dr. Aman? Are you calling it blood money?
Spielberg profit from Schindler's List.
One second.
It is not about what I call it, sir. I am just pointing out
did
the
Polanski who
absurdity
made the
of
answer
not
it. Do
being
not answer
able
it.
to see criticism
Do not
of a
answer
film.
it. Let us not be
No,
envious.
I'm answering.
Let us not
I'm
be
answering. The
Don't be
question
envious.
is,
It is not criticism of a film. I'll tell you, Dr. Raman, why. Okay, let's play out what he said. Okay, let's end the confusion. Listen to every word of what Lapid says. Now, 1 minute. Let's hear him speak. This is what he said. Vulgar propaganda clip. Here it is.
Us disturbed and shocked by the 15th film, by the movie Kashmir Files, that felt to us like a propaganda vulgar movie, inappropriate for an artistic competitive section of such a prestigious film festival. I feel totally comfortable to share openly these feelings here with you on stage, since the spirit that we felt in the festival can surely accept also a critical discussion, which is essential for art and for life.
Dr. Raman, Mr. Jindal, आप क्या दिखा रहे हैं? You are showing something. क्या है? Is the white?
Kudos to Lapid.
There you go. Kudos to Lapid for mocking the pain of Hindus, for trivializing the genocide. No, great. No, by all means, you should make a film on Lapid. No, why not?
Supposed to be
Make a film on Lapid.
Not some form of a political narrative. Now, what is NBFC doing? What is the censor board doing? Now, if the censor board is not supposed to cut down and censor some of the objectionable content which could be contested,
Sir, the truth was buried for so long. The truth was buried for so long. अभी भी और censor करना चाहते हैं.
Are you making Mr. Vivek Agnihotri as the certifying authority?
No, but are you discounting? No, are you discounting the pain and suffering?
That is one dimension.
No, are you discounting the pain and suffering? No, 1 minute. This is not about Vivek Agnihotri at all. You abuse Vivek Agnihotri, call him names. You do that. Abuse him.
See, you told me.
This is about, no, 1 minute. I don't want to hear what he told you. 1 minute, Mr. Jindal. 1 minute, Mr. Jindal. This is not about Vivek Agnihotri. This is about what the Kashmiri Hindus went through. उनके भी रिएक्शन से वो भी चला देते हैं, लेकिन डिबेट के लिए समय नहीं मिलेगा. अब आप बोलेंगे उनको भी, you will call them a BJP worker.
What did the government do for the Kashmiri Hindus? Rather than promoting.
Let me tell you, can I say?
I have been asking that question. Times Now has been asking that question. कल तो मैंने बोल दिया. I went on to say that successive governments has paid lip service, has used the Kashmiri Hindus as a prop. I said it in as many words.
I don't agree with you.
I am only asking you a direct question. How can you endorse what Nadav Lapid is saying?
Lapid was absolutely right. He said that
believe in what he said about the government.
As an artistic
But let me
expression. And every artistic expression must be having critical dimension to it.
I will resign. Are you ready to take the challenge, Mr. Lokesh Jindal? Are you ready to take the challenge? When he Vivek says,
I am ready to take the challenge.
Which is not based on the history. Are you going to take a challenge? No, you will not.
I take a challenge.
And secondly,
I'll take any challenge that you
Heather was made showing sympathy for the terrorists. Where did the money of Heather go? Did it go to Mujahideen? Did it go to the producer's pocket? Where did it go? When Heather showed Setal's dance in Martin the temple, did you object to that? You did not, because that is artistic freedom. When he showed the wonderful ancient relic of Martin temple as a den of Gufa of Shaitan, you people clapped. Nobody objected. When Heather showed terrorists in a wonderful light, where did the profit go? Did it come to you? Did it go to Mujahideen? Did it go to that?
Mr. Sharda, did the government promote any form of a contentious content? It did not. But this particular BJP government...
What's contentious about the genocide? We are now back to the first question. I mean, sir, ऐसे मत कीजिए. Lokesh Jindal, 1 minute. Lokesh Jindal. No, 1 minute. Sir, we are back to the first question. Now, people who are watching this will think that, in absence of Rahul Shivshankar, Pranesh से संभल नहीं रहा है. अब आप फिर से पहले सवाल पे आ गए. ऐसे तो मत कीजिए, sir. अब वो सब तो, you've got that answer from Ratan Sharda. Dr. Ranganathan has spoken on that. You make up your mind. Lokesh Jindal. Let me ask again. Lokesh Jindal, 1 minute. Let me ask again.
Pranesh, one point.
Dr. Raman, 1 minute. Let me just...
1 point, please.
Okay, sir.
Pranesh, 1 second. Yeah. Just one point. Look, we are in some ways sort of playing into Lapid's hands by not reacting like how any mature democracy would. Call Lapid, call some of our best directors, have a show, have each of them explain their points of view.
But Dr. Raman, I'll tell you the trouble. Lapid was not talking about the soundtrack. Lapid was not talking about the cinematography. Lapid was not on the background score. Lapid was not on the actors chosen to play different parts. Dr. Ranganathan.
Lapid. Who invited him to be a jury?
That the BJP and the government must answer, but I don't have either a representative. We've been trying, but I don't have a representative from the BJP or the government to answer that. What can I do? We are asking that question. Dr. Raman, I am asking that question. We are asking that question.
But then he
Dr. Ranganathan.
You want him to say. He should say only what you want him to say.
Pranesh, can I please?
Dr. Ranganathan, yes.
Sorry, Ratan Sharda ji.
Okay, let Dr. Ranganathan come in. Okay.
Pranesh, you are not answering the simple question. You gave him a platform. You invited him. You made him chairman of the jury. And when he says something you don't like, he becomes the bad guy.
Come in. 1 minute. Dr. Raman, Mr. Sharda, Dr. Ranganathan coming in.
Yes, Pranesh, can I please recommend, even my wife has started using the faders to fade me out. Please start using faders, because otherwise the audience really cannot hear people speaking over each other. Now, to answer Dr. Sumant Raman's thing again, he is in effect agreeing that this government is acting democratically and not in a fascistic passion. It invites its biggest critic. It gives its own platform to that biggest critic. That biggest critic says that the film that you guys have been promoting is vulgar propaganda. It does not arrest that biggest critic. The biggest critic goes away and starts a flurry of interviews saying why he's right and the government is wrong. So at least agree that this is not a fascist Hindutva Rashtra state. Number two, I want to, now please.
You're spinning it as a virtue. Now you're spinning it as a virtue.
Why spinning it? Why spinning it?
Are you saying that the government...
It's a fair question he's asking, Dr. Raman.
No, this is very interesting.
After what you said.
Very interesting. Dr. Sumant Raman is suggesting...
The government
Dr. Sumant Raman is suggesting that the government should not have invited its critic. Wow. So much for freedom of speech. Are you saying the government should not have invited?
I am saying they would not. They would not.
No, are you saying that the government should not have...
Would not have invited. I think there's a difference between...
Would not.
The government,
I will tell you which government would not have
invited.
Now please, I will
they should have.
Now Dr. Sumant Raman, now please allow me. Please allow me. I will tell you, and you also are old enough and wise enough to understand that the only government that would not have allowed its own critics to, leave alone give a platform, to even have a voice, is the Congress government. In the last 75 years, it has banned hundreds of films, especially on the 1984 Sikh genocide. They don't want the truth to be out. So it is the BJP in its, you can say foolishness or whatever, I can say freedom of speech and expression, upholding it, that it called its biggest critic. The Congress would never have.
Government is counting upon...
So you're making it a virtue now, because clearly you yourself said foolishness,
Jindal, 1 minute,
and then you're making it a virtue.
Yeah, Dr. Raman, yes.
Now 1 second. Now 1 second.
No, my point is very simple, sir. I don't believe if they had done a proper background check on Mr. Lapid and his views, He may not have been brought. He may not have been invited.
But sir, tell
Somebody
me,
go.
forget
That
about the
is why
background
man
check.
was brought here.
No,
And
for a moment,
when he
forget
spoke,
about the
all
background
hell
check.
breaks loose.
Let's discuss the comments he's made and how the ecosystem is celebrating
he
it.
believes his own country is an apartheid state.
Arey
He
yaar.
bad for Palestinians.
Arey
He is
yaar.
against the Israeli Jews.
Call him.
This is his background. What do you know about that?
He is talking.
In spite of that,
Israel hasn't.
how do you know that this
Israel
government did
hasn't
not take
shouted
it
him
back
down. Israel hasn't.
How do you
hasn't
know?
arrested him.
This is the same
No,
virtue
sir.
signaling trap you
How do you
set
know they
yourself
did?
out, Dr. Raman.
How do you know
Are
they
you
did?
saying-
You don't know
Are
either. You don't know.
Okay, now
either.
1 minute.
You
Ashwini
are
Handa.
tapping yourself.
Ashwini
You don't know
Handa.
they did.
Why are you
Ashwini
You don't know
Handa.
they
You are the one
did.
who's spinning it.
You don't know they did. Now you're spinning it as a virtue.
No, you.
No, you're the one who's
Okay,
spinning
okay.
it. Sir, I have no reason to spin it. All I'm saying is call the man.
Let's talk about,
Why are
okay,
you
Ashwini
scared?
Handa, 1 minute.
Why
Okay,
are you
okay,
scared of
okay.
a filmmaker?
He has heard
Call
Gilani's
him.
views.
Call
that were
him.
rampant
Give him a
Islamic
platform.
and his
Debate with
separation,
him
wanting
and
separation.
let
from
Okay,
India
Dr. Raman,
based
Dr.
on
Raman, the
what
two
are
doctors
you
in the
running
panel,
away
Dr.
from
Raman
him?
and Dr. Ranganathan. Okay,
Call
okay, let
him,
me bring
Pradesh.
in Handa Saab. Handa Saab, Kashmir policy की बात करें, fastest Kashmir policy, as Nadav Lapid says. Would you like to elaborate, sir? What's fastest about it?
परनेश, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से अभी तक कोई भी इस पे रिमार्क्स नहीं आया है। अगर गवर्नमेंट क्यों चुप है, पहला प्रश्न ये है। दूसरा प्रश्न ये है कि जो कश्मीर फाइल से नुकसान हुआ है, जिन कश्मीरी पंडितों को मारा गया है इस कश्मीर फाइल के बाद, जबकि 1990 से लेकर 2022 तक एक भी कश्मीरी पंडित को टारगेट करके नहीं।
अभी आप बोल रहे थे कश्मीर फाइल्स प्रोपेगेंडा है, अभी आप बोल रहे हैं कश्मीर फाइल से नुकसान हुआ है, ये सब एक साथ कैसे हो गया सर? ये क्या बोल रहे हैं आप?
बता रहा हूं
कौन मार रहा है ये? अब आप
सुन
पाकिस्तान
लीजिए,
को तो
सुन लीजिए।
कंडेम नहीं करेंगे।
उसके बाद कश्मीर फाइल बनने के बाद ये कश्मीरी पंडित जो पीएम पैकेज के चलते वहां पर जॉब कर
अच्छा
रहे थे,
सर,
वो सारे
अश्विनी हांडा जी, आई एम ग्लैड यू आर सेइंग व्हाट यू आर सेइंग। 1 मिनट, नहीं, आप मुझे डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस पूछने दीजिए। 1 मिनट, डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, आई विल कम टू यू। आई नो यू हैव पॉइंट्स टू मेक, आई विल कम टू यू। अश्विनी जी मुझे ये बताइए,
Because what he's doing is, he's saying that the Muslims have started killing Kashmiri Pandits after watching Kashmir files.
Exactly.
Handa Saab, please apologize.
No.
That is what you said.
You interpret my answer.
नो, सो व्हाट डिड यू मीन?
Let me. मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि कश्मीरी पंडितों को कश्मीर मूवीज बनने के बाद टारगेट किया गया है।
कौन टारगेट कर रहा है?
कौन टारगेट कर रहा है?
आतंकवादी।
नहीं, कहां से आ रही है?
आतंकवादी कश्मीर फाइल्स देख के कहां से आ रहे हैं आतंकवादी?
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कह रही है कि आतंकवादी जो है वो पाकिस्तान से आ रहे हैं। 300 आतंकवादी।
नहीं, आपको क्या लगता है कहां से आ रहा है? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया तो बहुत कुछ कहती है, आप डिसएग्री करते हैं। आपको क्या लगता है कहां से आ रही है?
नहीं, अभी हमारे एलजी साहब ने ये कहा था कि 2 साल के अंदर आतंकवाद खत्म हो जाएगा।
हाँ।
क्या हुआ उसका?
नहीं, तो आतंकवादी आ कहां से रहे हैं हांडा साहब? उसका तो जवाब दीजिए, कहां से आ रहे हैं ये?
वो हम सब जानते हैं कि पड़ोसी देश से आ रहे हैं।
तो पड़ोसी देश से आ रहे हैं ना? नहीं, तो पड़ोसी देश, वो उसका कश्मीर फाइल से क्या मतलब है?
पाकिस्तानी था, बुरहान वानी पाकिस्तानी था।
कश्मीर में अगर
बुरहान वानी पाकिस्तानी था हांडा साहब। बुरहान वानी पाकिस्तानी था।
रंगनाथन सर, 370 हटाने का मकसद था कश्मीर से आतंकवाद खत्म करना।
प्लीज
आप बताइए कि कश्मीर में आतंकवाद खत्म हो गया? कश्मीर में आतंकवाद खत्म हो गया? 35 से हटाने से कश्मीर में आतंकवाद
हटाने के लिए नहीं था।
पार्लियामेंट
डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो था सर, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन खत्म करने के लिए था।
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की
10 लाख लोगों को न्याय देने का मकसद था।
Exactly.
आतंकवाद की दूरी और डबल नेशन थ्योरी को खत्म करने का, 2 नेशन थ्योरी को, वो कारण था ताकि वहां के लोगों को न्याय मिले, वहां के लोगों को डेवलपमेंट मिले, वहां के लोगों को सौहार्द मिले। इसलिए 370 हटाया। 370 रीजन बाय पाकिस्तान वेंडर गेम। आपको पता है
पार्लियामेंट के अंदर गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी ने कहा था कि 317 अटैक के बाद मुक्त कश्मीर हो जाएगा, लेकिन नहीं हुआ।
करण वर्मा इज काउंटरिंग अश्विनी हांडा। ओके, करण वर्मा।
Does he know the longest curfew during Congress time? Does he know the longest governor rules.
No, Pranesh.
Does he know that when the people are killed in
1990 में भी कांग्रेस समर्थन की बीपी सरकार थी.
Mr. Handa doesn't even know why Article 370 was removed.
No, he knows it. He is only muddying the waters. Of course he knows it.
Homosexuals, outsiders, and to completely align Kashmir with India. He doesn't even know the meaning of this. And terrorism is not going to be obliterated in a matter of days or months. The radical philosophy that has taken its roots in Kashmir, it will take some time for it to go. Today we have record tourism and record investment in the state. But radical Islam as a philosophy that has taken its root in the land of Rishi Kashyap, Kashmir, it will take some time before it goes. For that we need cooperation at all ends. You can't just shout from rooftops, kahan gaya terrorism, kahan gaya terrorism.
But Karan Verma, Ashwini Handa is also saying, why is the government silent? Karan Verma, Ashwini Handa is also saying, why is the government silent?
I'll answer this.
Yeah.
I'll answer this.
Why would government speak about Lapid? Why should government speak about Lapid?
You know,
if Anurag Thakur had to speak, would have speak about the state? That is not the question.
No, let me answer please.
The question is, where is the terror all over the world?
Let me answer this,
Kashmir. Are you saying the terror across the world by the Islamists is due to Africa?
Okay, let Karan Verma answer that. Ratan Sharda.
Mr. Handa, don't put blanket over all this.
No, Karan Verma wants to answer the question. Let him answer that. Yes.
Yes, Karan, I completely agree with you.
Mr. Handa, Mr. Suman, they both said that why is the government silent when this filmmaker said what he said? Well, we don't need to speak much. When the ambassador of the country apologizes and says, hails our culture and says that it is our greatness and the ignorance of this man, then we need to be silent. To hear words of praise, warmth, support, we need to be silent. It is silence which is golden at this time. It speaks volumes of our culture of tolerance, of our culture that is held by the
Okay, I've run out of time, but the last word on the show, Dr. Ranganathan, 30 seconds is all you have.
Not even 30 seconds, I'll take 5 seconds. Karan, I agree completely with you except for one small bit. There is no such thing as radical Islam. Thank you.
Vivek Srivastava will agree with you. Finally, at the end of it. Vivek Srivastava?
No, I don't agree with you. No, I mean, see, Dr. Ranganathan is confused. Schindler's List was not made or sponsored by any government to fulfill a fascist agenda. It was made after the fascist government
Kashmir
of Germany
was sponsored by a BJP
you cannot compare that to Kashmir files. Propaganda, let me speak now, Anand, let me speak. You
नहीं तो झूठ तो मत बोलो, मेरा नाम लेके झूठ बोल रहे हो यार.
सुनो सर, हिटलर की प्रोपेगेंडा मूवीज, प्रोपेगेंडा क्लिप्स, सर जेएनयू का आपको भी वास्ता, जेएनयू हम दोनों का है, जेएनयू हम दोनों का है सर, आपका भी है मेरा भी है, लेकिन आप सोचिए फासिस्ट गवर्नमेंट के प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्म्स को ये कश्मीर फाइल्स
fascist government propaganda films
which is Hindu supremacist
and wants to
Hindu supremacist,
it's an Islamophobic film.
Platform.
Islamophobic, Hindu supremacist. Ratan Sharda,
government which believes in
quick response. Ratan Sharda, 10 seconds, sir. 10 seconds. Quick response to Vivek Srivastava.
Okay, let me say, this is fascism. What was Mari Jhapi? When Communist Party killed thousands of poor scheduled people in Mari Jhapi Island, Communist Party government, was that democracy? Was that not fascism? When in support, not for अब नाराज हो गए भी रे भाई, नाराज हो गए भी रे भाई.
For Kashmir files. Because it's
okay. Gentlemen, we've run out of time. Dr. Ranganathan, Karan Verma, Ratan Sharda, Lokesh Jindal, Handa Saab, Sumansi Raman, Vivek Srivastava. Thank you all for joining us. We couldn't do the other debate, but thanks indeed for joining us on debate number 1. That's all we could pack in. The news are coming up with Navika Kumar.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़ीग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे. देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारी यात्रा का, आज तक की हमारी राजनीतिक यात्रा का एक वादा रहा है देश की जनता से। और न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी, संविधान सभा ने भी देश भर के विधानमंडलों को और संसद को ये सलाह दी है कि जब भी उचित समय आए यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड इस देश में आना चाहिए, क्योंकि किसी भी पंथ निरपेक्ष राष्ट्र के लिए, राज्य के लिए धर्म के आधार पर कानून नहीं होने चाहिए। अगर राष्ट्र और राज्य पंथ निरपेक्ष है तो धर्म के आधार पर कानून कैसे हो सकते हैं? हर धर्म के मानने वाले के लिए एक कानून होना चाहिए जो देश के विधानमंडल और देश की संसद पारित करे। परंतु ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम सबने संविधान सभा के एक कमिटमेंट को भुला दिया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अलावे आज कोई पार्टी यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के पक्ष में नहीं है, ना बोलते हैं। हाँ, हिम्मत कम होगी तो विरोध नहीं करेंगे, मगर ये नहीं कहेंगे कि हाँ लागू करिए, हम आपके साथ खड़े। हम लोकतंत्र के अंदर है, लोकतंत्र के अंदर एक स्वस्थ बहस जरूरी है। जब इतने सारे राजनीतिक दल का एक अभिप्राय हो और मेरे राजनीतिक दल का दूसरा अभिप्राय हो, मनसा चाहे कोई भी हो, वोट प्राप्त करने की हो या जो हो, अगर उनका एक अभिप्राय है कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड अभी नहीं लाना चाहिए, तो इस पर एक स्वस्थ और खुली बहस की जरूरत है। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जहां जहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी का शासन है वहां 3 राज्यों में अब तक, हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड और गुजरात में, हमने एक पैनल बनाया है और पैनल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड जज और हाई कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस की अध्यक्षता में बनाए हैं। और सारे दल, समाज जीवन के सारे लोग और सभी धर्म संप्रदाय के लोग उनके सामने अपना अपना पक्ष रख रहे हैं। उस पर जो एडवाइस आएगी इसके आधार पर हम काम करेंगे। और स्वाभाविक रूप से इस प्रकार के शिखर सम्मेलन और इंटरव्यू में भी इस पर एक स्वस्थ बहस छिड़ी हुई है, तो देश की जनता को भी मन बनाने में इससे बहुत बड़ा मदद मिलता है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी, मैं अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़िग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे, परंतु सारी लोकतांत्रिक चर्चाओं की समाप्ति के बाद।
So Justice Lalit, Kiran Rijiju, the present Law Minister, has also made this point about certain degree of exceptionalism to the universal rule, so to speak. On that, I would like you to elaborate, obviously, and also, would you welcome it? Obviously, you're not in office right now.
The Karnataka Waqf Board announced that it will establish self-funded schools and colleges in the state. Students will be allowed to wear hijabs to classes in these institutions. Challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act in the Supreme Court, DMK alleged that it leaves out Tamil refugees and is against India's secular fabric as it relates to only 3 countries and is confined to only 6 religions. The Enforcement Directorate arrested alleged Sisodia aide Amit Arora in connection with the alleged Delhi excise policy scam. He was later produced in court. In the matter of TMC leader Anubrata Mondal's bail plea in the alleged cattle scam case, CBI has sought time to file a reply. The next hearing is set to take place on the 16th of December. After a ransomware attack crippled AIIMS services, AIIMS Delhi has decided to get 4 new servers from the DRDO. A special court has rejected Nawab Malik's bail plea. He was booked in a money laundering case with connection to fugitive gangster Dawood Ibrahim.
Mr. Salve, we are talking about transparency. Do you believe the government too needs to be transparent? For instance, if it chooses to return a file to the Supreme Court, collegium of a judge who has been nominated or cleared for appointment, should the public also not know why the file is being returned? To take this a step further, should the IB report and the background checks, etc., made public? Should it work the other way also?
This whole process, quite frankly, and if I may not mince my words, this whole process has become pretty hopeless. I'm sorry to say so. Today, the IB gives a report. Today you ask a person to become a judge. You ask the IB to report. The IB reports partly gossip. Do you want that to come in public domain? I don't want my personal life to come in public domain. I may not even want to be a judge. So this whole process, this whole system is incompatible with transparency. Let me tell you 3 reasons. First of all, and this is my firm belief, all judicial institutions hear cases in public, recess into their chambers and deliver judgments. What goes on inside chambers is never, ever the subject of public scrutiny. And if somebody was to ask a judge in your meeting, when you arrived at a consensus or dissent, what did you discuss? It would be the worst form of contempt, because you're trying to undermine the judiciary. You're trying to interfere with the process by which this beautiful system works. So the judiciary's transparency is, the judiciary speaks through its judgments, and that's the transparency. What judges discuss once they go into their chambers has to be protected. Here is a function where the judges are trying to come into public domain. You want one judge to pass comments on a sitting colleague in the High Court. I don't think that's the right thing to do. 3 judges or 5 judges consider the appointment of a judge to the Supreme Court. I'm not going by the gossip you've heard of what discussions take place. I am telling you on a principle, please consider. One of the judges may say, frankly, I think his judgments are third rate. You want that to come in public? The person is a sitting Chief Justice. You are considering his name for the Supreme Court. This is a process which has to be fundamentally different. If you have this kind of a tension between the government and the judiciary, and we have seen that the government says on the one hand, you reduced us to a post office because the last word is with you. Many times, late Mr. Jaitley used to say, don't blame me, I'm the post office. I receive the file, I send it to the High Court, I get the file, I send it to them. In a situation like this, who takes responsibility? It's the court which has to today take responsibility. And in that, I don't think this system is compatible with the kind of transparency which you must have in the appointment of judges. We have to think of another way in which it is done, and in which the sanctity of a person's integrity is maintained. Look at the American system. You know, if you're agreeing to be appointed a Supreme Court judge, you will have a Senate hearing, and that Senate hearing can be excoriating. All sorts of things come up in a Senate confirmation proceeding. That's one system. Will it work for us? May not.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's only a few hours left for the first phase of Gujarat election, and Gaali politics seems to have taken center stage in Gujarat. After the Congress hurled abuses at the Prime Minister, the BJP was quick to hit back, calling it an insult of Gujarat's pride. But this attack and counter-attack by the BJP and Congress doesn't just seem to be ending here. Now the Congress party has taken this fight a notch higher. The party released a video listing out statements made by the BJP against Congress leaders to say that the BJP has no locus standi to grandstand on politics of Gaalis. Listen in.
Yeah, not only Prime Minister, every leader of Bharatiya Janata Party, they speak very nonsense about Gandhi family. And himself, our Prime Minister himself has said, Rajiv Gandhi chor the. He has himself said about Sonia Gandhi and even about Dr. Manmohan Singh. It is my considered opinion, दुश्मनी जम कर करो, बस इतनी गुंजाइश रहे, जब कभी हम दोस्त हो जाएं तो शर्मिंदा ना हो।
कौन क्या है वो सूरत तो क्या गुजरात तो क्या पूरे देश के लोग जानते हैं। अब मोदी साहब का वो क्रेज नहीं रहा। मोदी साहब पे जो लोगों को गुजरातियों को जो विश्वास था, अपेक्षाएं थी, उसकी 10% भी परिपूर्ण नहीं हुई। जिन्होंने मोदी मोदी करके इनको राज सिंहासन दे दिया, आज वो अपने आप को कोस रहे हैं। इससे ये इनकी भाजपा की बौखलाहट है कि इनको हार सामने दिख रही, इसके लिए एक्स्ट्रा आक्षेप करते हो और कुछ नहीं।
But ladies and gentlemen, what's really surprising is that 2 days before the first phase of polling, tomorrow morning, Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party chief, left battleground Gujarat to concentrate on the MCD elections in Delhi, and those are visuals of his road show today in Delhi. And even yesterday he was not present on the last day of campaigning before the first phase of polling. That's Arvind Kejriwal. Many people raising the question on have they started big but decided that they weren't cutting any ice. And on the other hand, there is Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who wanted to send a message to the land of Somnath from the land of Mahakal. Rahul Gandhi yesterday in Madhya Pradesh praying at the Mahakal went completely Dandvat in front of Mahakal, and that video and that picture becoming totally viral on social media, and many people questioning on whether it was back to Hindutva politics as the last resort for the Congress party. So Rahul Gandhi absent and Arvind Kejriwal heading to Delhi. Does it mean that they've given up even before polling has begun? Listen in to what the BJP has to say.
गुजरात नहीं, पूरे देश के हर चुनाव में सबसे बड़ा चेहरा प्रधानमंत्री है, हमारे सर्वोच्च नेता है, और इतना लोकप्रिय नेता होना भी पार्टी के सौभाग्य की बात है। मैं मानता हूं ये सारी गाली गलौज का जवाब गुजरात की जनता कल 1 तारीख को और 5 तारीख को देगी।
जिस प्रकार के अपशब्दों का प्रयोग आज के कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष के द्वारा किया गया है, इसे मैं केवल आज के कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष मिस्टर खड़गे की ही सोच का परिणाम नहीं मानता हूं, बल्कि पूरे कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व की जो जमात है, यह उसकी सोच का परिणाम है।
जिन्होंने प्रभु राम के अस्तित्व को नकारा और यह प्रश्न उपस्थित किया कि क्या सचमुच राम पैदा हुए थे, ऐसे लोग उनको रावण की उपमा दे रहे जिन्होंने 700 साल का कलंक मिटाकर रामलला के मंदिर के निर्माण की शुरुआत की।
So ladies and gentlemen, what's in the heart and minds of the Gujarat Janta? We asked public on the ground and listen in to what they had to say.
ये गाली गलौज पे जो गालियां दी जा रही है एक दूसरे से, उसके बारे में क्या कहना?
चाहिए ही नहीं कांग्रेस, हमको तो कांग्रेस सही है, कांग्रेस नहीं चाहिए, केजरीवाल भी नहीं चाहिए, दोनों बट्टा।
सर, एक ना गाली पॉलिटिक्स चल रही है, प्रधानमंत्री कुछ बोलते हैं, उनके रिस्पांस में कांग्रेस कुछ बोलती है, वोटर क्या सोचता है इसके बारे में?
हमारा तो यही है, एक ही भाजपा। ये तो आमने सामने मुद्दा तो रहेगा ही। ये जो कांग्रेस है वो भाजपा के पर लगाएगी, भाजपा है वो कांग्रेस पर लगाएगा, वो तो चलता ही रहता है।
काम तो अच्छा। वोटर क्या सोचता है इसके बारे में?
वो तो जनता को सोचने का है ना।
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, has the opposition given up even before polling? That's the question and that's the debate. Gujarat Gaali fight, that's the hashtag and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight on the Newshour, Guru Prakash, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate Suhail Seth, columnist, Sanjay Jha, author, suspended Congress leader, Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, Shubh Malhotra, political analyst. And I want to ask today, starting from Mr. Sanjay Jha. Mr. Sanjay Jha, last day of campaigning for the first phase was yesterday. But Rahul Gandhi, just one special appearance in Gujarat, and he tried to send a message to the land of Somnath from the land of Mahakal. Hindutva seasonal Hindu, all the barbs come right out of the bag. And of course, Janeudhari nowhere to be seen in Gujarat, but Mandir Jana, Akhri resort, last resort of the Congress party. Where is Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and has the Congress given up this fight and therefore resorting to Gaali politics and running away from the battleground?
Navika, I think firstly, anybody, practicing their own religious faith, that is their fundamental right. As a politician or as a public figure, you live in a goldfish bowl, and obviously wherever you go, there will be a lot of publicity and cameramen, so that gets amplified. My basic argument here is that why does the BJP get a stomach upset when Rahul Gandhi or somebody from the Congress visits a temple? I mean, who appointed the RSS and BJP to be the custodians of a great, eclectic, tolerant, and in my opinion, a beautiful religion of Hinduism? I mean, the BJP and the RSS practice, I think what all of us have been saying for a long time, is Hindutva. And Hindutva and Hinduism are two different platforms altogether. For the BJP, the majority vote is nothing but about political mobilization. I mean, I'm a Hindu and a very proud Hindu, and my religion teaches me to be tolerant, to be actually compassionate, to create a brotherhood of fraternity, and eventually to absorb and live with the eclectic nature of all religions. And you can see what the BJP and the RSS have done to India. So I do believe that today the BJP should stop fooling itself and stop fooling the majority population of the people in India that they are the custodians of Hinduism. You are not. What you do is actually practice an aggressive, crude form of religious polarization. So let me put it on the table. I am a Hindu and a proud Hindu. Mr. Guru Prakash represents Hindutva, and let us segregate the distinction between the two. And I think what Rahul Gandhi has done, in my opinion, Navika, is what he should do. He should go to a temple, he should go to a mosque, he should go to a Gurudwara, everywhere else. My second point, and I will wrap up with that, Navika, I'm very glad you have introduced the kind of diatribe, a vulgar diatribe in India, where political parties indulge in crude, extremely rude, impertinent, and vulgar abuses at each other. And I do believe, and I'm saying so here, that there are people from the Congress who too have exceeded a certain limit in the past, but full credit to the BJP for reducing the public discourse and the political conversation to an abysmal level, led by the Prime Minister himself.
Sanjay Jha, of course, Sanjay Jha, no disputes with the fact that people can go to a temple, a mosque, a Gurudwara, wherever they want to go. But they should also go to a battleground where elections are happening, instead of finding fault with others who go, and fight elections seriously, while you want to be, a political party being run as an NGO. So Guru Prakash, the Congress party has the right to label everybody, Hindu followers versus Hindutva followers, पर आप किसी को label नहीं कर सकते, आपके पास ये rights available नहीं है. That's what Sanjay Jha alludes to. How do you respond to it?
Navika ji, I was patiently listening to Mr. Sanjay Jha, and that is where the problem lies. I mean, people can speak for themselves. I can speak for myself. Who do I represent? I can articulate that. But the problem is that there are two schools of thoughts. One which is talking of Gati Shakti, and another which is talking of Gaali Shakti. You have to understand this simple point. Madhusudan Mistry couple of weeks ago, Pradhan Mantri Modi ko औकात दिखाएंगे. Who is this? Who is representing? Who has perverted the public discourse? Who has perverted the political discourse in the country? I want to ask my friend from the Congress party, number one, Mr. Manishankar Iyer, 2014 कांग्रेस कन्वेंशन के बाहर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी आकर के चाय बेच सकते हैं. प्रॉब्लम यही है. This is the only problem when a son of a poor person, गरीब का बेटा सिंहासन पे बैठता है तो आपको दिक्कत होती है. Accept that with full grace and humility. कोई पिछड़े वर्ग का बेटा अगर सिंहासन पे बैठता है तो आपको दिक्कत होती है. This feudalism, this सामंतवाद is something with which we need आजादी. सामंतवाद जो है वो आपका है, फ्यूडलिज्म जो है वो आपका है, ये एलिटिस्ट एरोगेंस जो है वो आपका है। अब गरीब का बेटा, पिछड़े का बेटा, चाय वाले का बेटा दिल्ली के सिंहासन पे भी बैठेगा और अहमदाबाद के भी सिंहासन पे बैठेगा और गुजरात के साथ साथ भारत के 135 करोड़ लोगों का भी आशीर्वाद उसको प्राप्त है। आप गाली दीजिए, मैं बीच में नहीं बोल रहा था, मैं आपका सम्मान करता हूं संजय जी, धन्यवाद। This is the political discourse. This is perversion of political discourse. There is democracy in our country. There is free speech. तो बीच में बात नहीं करेंगे तो आप बीच में यदि बोल करके अगर आपके पास तर्क और तथ्यों का अभाव है तो बीच में बोलिए, बट बीच में बोलना ये शोभा नहीं देता है। धन्यवाद। गरीब का बेटा, पिछड़े वर्ग का बेटा, ओबीसी का बेटा अगर बैठता है तो कुछ लोगों को समस्या होती है और ये आज से नहीं हो रही है, बहुत सालों से हो रही है। Accept this with grace and humility. And also another point, Navika, which you rightly said. Mr. Sanjay Jha represents or used to represent a political party. Letters from the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, to Rajendra Prasad, the first President of India, openly, Somnath Mandir mein mat jaiye, but I salute and I come from the land of Mr. Rajendra Prasad, the first President of India, who went to Somnath Temple. आज उनके परिवार के लोग मजबूर हैं, आज मजबूर हैं, they have to go to Somnath Temple. The fact that we can debate Hindutva, Hinduness 9 p.m. on a prime time show is a reflection that they have now faced the defeat. They have now tasted the real taste. The people of India are solidly standing and the people of India will respond to the Gaali Shakti, the abuses of the leadership of the Congress party. Navika.
Respond Sanjay Jha, 30 seconds.
Yeah, quickly. आप जानते हैं गुरु प्रकाश जी, आपके अश्विनी चौबे ने राहुल गांधी को नाली का कीड़ा बोला था और नरेंद्र मोदी ने एक शब्द नहीं बोला।
अधीर रंजन चौधरी ने क्या कहा था? गंदी नाली का कीड़ा, वो शायद आपने नहीं सुना, और वो तो सीधा प्रधानमंत्री के लिए कहा था और पार्लियामेंट में कहा था, पार्लियामेंट में ऑन द फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस कहा था, शायद वो आपको याद नहीं है संजय झा। सो आई डोंट थिंक हियर,
just give me 15 seconds, just 15 seconds. Narendra Modi as the chief minister of Gujarat called Mrs. Gandhi a Jersey cow, and this is the party that talks about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. We have no respect for women in this country.
Well, she called him a maut ka saudagar in 2007 and he has never looked back, at least electorally, Sanjay Jha, and I'm not justifying anybody's comments on Gaalis and abuses. The question here is there anything to choose from? And let me take that question to Mr. Sohail Seth. Is there really anything to choose from amongst political parties, especially when it comes to the kind of language that they choose? But that's one part of the story. The other part of the story is how seriously are elections being fought? You know, somebody calls Narendra Modi Ravan because he can be seen in every election. Is being sincere and being hardworking and taking every election seriously now going to be held against people like Mr. Modi who do take it very seriously?
You know, I've just heard Sanjay Jha and Guru Prakash. There's no competition in being abusive. I mean, you know, to compete, saying that you said this and I said this. I mean, this is the worst form of whataboutery ever. I have only two comments to offer. Number one, Narendra Modi is no longer Narendra Modi. He's the Prime Minister of India. When you abuse Narendra Modi, willy-nilly you abuse the office of the Prime Minister of this country. He's not my Prime Minister alone. He's not Tehseen's Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister of the Republic of India who was elected. He didn't sneak in through the back door. He didn't, manage an election. So that's number one. Number two, everyone here is guilty. Guilty of abuse. You know, when you don't have real issues, you then resort to pettiness. And what we are seeing today in our electoral politics is the worst form of pettiness. This is behavior that doesn't behove anyone. To abuse the Prime Minister during an election campaign, to say whatever you want and then say, but he said this, it doesn't hold. Then you're as equally responsible as anyone else. Who holds the moral high ground, tell me, in this country as far as abuse is concerned? Everyone is party to this. And I'm afraid to say that the Prime Minister himself should now divorce himself from this level of abuse because it doesn't behove the office. This is not the way elections are won. People don't elect people because they can abuse gallantly.
People elect people because they can provide development. To constantly change the narrative, to constantly get into an abusive mode holds nothing. I mean, it actually alienates from the purposes of development that politics and politicians are meant for. A. B. What face do these so-called matured leaders show to the rest of the country? There are young people. We keep talking about the youth of our country. Is this what you want them to grow up with? Is this how you want them to determine opposition? Is this how you want them to compete? Compete on the grounds of abuse rather than on the grounds of development? Abuse rather than competence? Abuse rather than capability? I mean, I feel this is abhorrent. I want to take one last point, Navika, that you raised about religion. Sanjay Jha rightly mentioned that religion is a personal element. I have been against public showing of religious offerings all my life. And I said people who do temple runs, mosque runs, church runs should do it in their private time. When you do it around election time, it is clear. Look, the people are not foolish. You know, it's not that you're talking to a stupid electorate in India. You don't think people understand why people are going to temples all of a sudden, why they're prostrating before a certain god or a certain goddess? People recognize that. What you do is you insult people's intelligence when you keep doing this repeatedly only around election time. I think the Election Commission needs to do three things. Number one, it needs to take cognizance of people who use abuse in their election speeches far more seriously. In fact, I'm saying you suspend those people from even taking part in election campaigns.
These suggestions have been given many times in the past and they've not led us anywhere, Suhail said. You know, I'm also a little cynical about these suggestions to election commission because nothing happens. Nobody falls in line because the election commission at best can stop you from campaigning for 24 hours and towards the end of campaigning, frankly, it makes no difference to anybody's life.
So what is the solution? You tell me. You're a mature journalist. You tell me what is the solution. Should we continue with this circus of abuse, this circus of religious intolerance, this circus of complete mayhem and manipulation? Do we as an electorate, as a democracy, continue with this abuse of social and moral intelligence? What is your solution? You tell me.
Well, I don't know. The solution is for those who run these political parties to actually sit down and find out.
To do anything.
But here, what are they doing? Everybody is standing and saying, "Hum likh ke de dete, bhavishyavani, I am winning."
Karan is on your program. Usko pucho legally, is there any recourse?
I moved Supreme Court. I moved Supreme Cort on
1 minute, I'm asking Karan. He's the
Tehseen Poonawalla has moved the Supreme Court. Ishkaran Bhandari. Is the Supreme Court now going to come in and even with the pendency of cases that already exists with them, is it going to look at everybody who calls somebody a Ravan, everybody who calls somebody a Bhasmasur? Now, is the Supreme Court now going to be looking at these Gaalis that are used in election campaigning? Ishkaran, is that a practical solution?
Ask Ishkaran for a solution.
Hear such language, but I think even Suhail will agree that it is some problems are better left ignored. And anyways, let's be very honest. We live in a country, we live in a generation where on OTT platforms to YouTube, youngsters are hearing all manners of speeches and all manners of things. What all can you regulate? In the end, we have to trust in the wisdom of people. And I frankly don't think so. Ex-politicians said why people ignore it. I ignore it and I think most people ignore it. What somebody says, they say what the politician does. That is why a Mr. Modi can in 2002, 2007, 2012, 2017, 2022 say, I am the face, please vote for me. He is asking for a positive mandate, risking his neck on the line to get a vote. People can reject that. He could have easily escaped that after 2014, saying, "Ab to mere haath mein sarkar nahi hai." On the other hand, we have somebody like Mr. Rahul Gandhi, whose strategy seems to be that please forget me and vote for Congress party. Please, I will not show my face in multiple rallies. Please, I will not be there leading the campaign from the forefront. Please, I will not take the responsibility. Power is poison, etc., etc., etc. But please vote for us. So please, let us be very clear. We are talking about a democracy where every leader should go to the people and seek constant mandates, which is what BJP is doing. Whether it be an assembly election, a municipality election, a Lok Sabha, every election is important. It affects people's lives, and that's what they are doing. Whereas the other side is still living in the la-la land of we will not be on the ground and we will want votes. Please vote for us without our leadership being there actively asking for votes.
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla, that's a brilliant point. That's a brilliant point being raised by Ishkaran Bhandari, and he says it as it is. Mr. Narendra Modi, instead of Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge having objections to Mr. Narendra Modi presenting himself in Lok Sabha Chunav, in state elections, in municipal elections, he's calling him Ravan for appearing everywhere. He should actually be thanking him because the man has got guts. The man puts his name, his neck on the line, and he takes it on the chin. After all, think of a politician who's won Lok Sabha elections not once but twice, doesn't need to go and show up really, if you really think in state elections, doesn't need to take the risk of his popularity coming down in some adverse states where he might not win elections, yet he goes out there, he puts his neck on the line, takes the risk and takes it on the chin. How many politicians have the guts to do that, especially in the Congress party, to show their accountability to the people, to keep going to them again and again and to keep exploring areas where they've never won a seat before?
Thank you for that question. It takes a lot of guts to, for example, cut your feet or cut your legs, and that will help you lose weight. But that's a stupid way to lose weight. So if guts is the criteria, yes, he may have a lot of guts, but if cutting your leg to lose weight is an idea, then good luck to you. And demonetization is cutting off the lives of the economy.
I'm sorry, you lost me there. What is the comparison? What is the comparison?
I'm explaining to you. If you don't interrupt me, I'll explain it to you. Like if I want to lose, if somebody hypothetically
that I understood, but how is this connected to Modi going and putting his face?
I'll explain it to you if you can allow me to speak, because there's a lot of lag. Then it's not heard, so I'll keep quiet. Or allow me to make my point. If somebody says hypothetically I want to lose weight, and somebody comes up with a genius master plan at 8 o'clock saying, okay, if you cut off your legs, your body weight will reduce. It takes a lot of guts to do it. But it's a stupid way to lose weight. That's not the way to lose weight. Like demonetization was cutting off the legs of the Indian economy. It was ridiculous. And that is what the Prime Minister is doing. Instead of focusing on the governance of the country, he takes a lot of guts to go about and campaign. But the country is in ruins, and campaigning, is it positive campaigning? In his campaigning, he uses the word Shamshan Kabristan. In his campaigning, he lies. He says trains that were derailed in Uttar Pradesh was due to Pakistan, and I had to counterfeit him, to counter him. The Prime Minister says that dangayon ko kapron se pehchana jata hai. Move Supreme Court on hate speech. Is this what behoves the Prime Minister? Sohail said he is the only Prime Minister whose speeches in both houses were expunged. You may call it guts, but I think it's ridiculous. And ridiculous is because India is hungry. Prime Minister says, "मैं खाता हूँ गाली या थाली में नहीं है."
Sohail said, have you been able to decipher? Have you been able to decipher the philosophy and the explanation offered by Tehseen Poonawalla?
I'm sure you did, because
I genuinely believe
you don't want to
I believe Tehseen has been very closely aligned and walking very closely to Rahul Gandhi, because his analogies are like Bernard Shaw's plays. The prefaces are longer than the play. Number one. Number two, when I last checked, Narendra Modi was not the head of an NGO. He was the leader of a political party. We're a democracy. Ishkaran mentioned the fact that democracies have elections as they should. Hard work can't be something that you can fault Narendra Modi on. B. You can't fault him for being a politician who works towards electoral wins, because that's his purpose. Number three, he's not on a long march to nowhere. So his business is to win elections for his party. He's the only vote grabber, as it were, and he doesn't make any bones about it. He's unabashed. Number four, please remember, the Prime Minister is only the senior most in terms of the equals in the cabinet. He doesn't have to sign off on every file. So to say that Modi is busy campaigning and therefore governance is suffering is hardly an example. By that logic, you could say when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was in office, and not in power and never went campaigning, electoral politics of the Congress suffered. They didn't. They won the elections. They won it twice. So my argument is, please don't begrudge Narendra Modi his electoral style of politics. That's what he's done. He's won it in.
One minute, Tehseen. Hold on. There is Shubh Malhotra. There is Shubh Malhotra on the panel, and just because she's the only woman on the panel doesn't mean we will silence her. I mean, apart from me, as a panelist, there's only one woman. So let me come to Shubh Malhotra. Shubh Malhotra, I want to ask you. The question raised by Suhail said, can you hold it against Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of this country, who's won not just the 2 Lok Sabha elections, but several elections are won on his face? Can you hold it against him that he uses, and his style is to get electoral victories for his party, and he is absolutely single-minded in that objective? And today when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal comes out and says, "Arey bhai, dekho, itne sare log aa gaye hain, campaign kar rahe hain Delhi mein," can you hold it against any party that they are going through the campaign style, the festival of democracy? And can you take it away from the Aam Aadmi Party? After all, the Chief Minister of Delhi spent 23 days in Gujarat, and Mr. Maan, who is the Chief Minister of Punjab, has also camped more in Gujarat than in Punjab, even when farmers are striking outside his own house. So how can this be held against Mr. Narendra Modi? And therefore, has the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party already given up before polling?
Yeah, I disagree a little bit with that. And, today while sitting in this panel, I kind of had the feeling of what the general public must be feeling of India amongst, so much of crude language, so much of mudslinging, and of course, all the, daily web series of sting operations and leaked tapes, etc. Because, nobody seems to be talking about the real agenda over here, which is with respect to the problems of the people. Everybody is just, talking in rhetorics, and it just doesn't relate. And one thing I would surely like to mention is that for Gujarat in particular, the 27 years of mismanagement, it is not just the BJP but the Congress, both of them are responsible and answerable by virtue of being the party in power and the party in opposition. But the intention over here and the language that both these parties are using is somehow a very concerted attempt to change the discourse, twist the discourse towards the developmental agenda that they need to talk about, and their achievements, if any, have been achieved, because probably they don't have any achievements to talk about. That's why, the discourse is trying to be twisted. Now, there is really no answer that they can provide by virtue of being the party in power and being the opposition. With the Congress and BJP, both are answerable for Morbi, both of them are answerable for Latha, both of them are answerable for the 10,000 crores of annual illegal liquor sales in a dry state of Gujarat, both of them are answerable for the 16 paper leaks, both of them are answerable for the high rate of inflation in Gujarat, higher than the average of the India, of all of India. So, they don't want to answer about that. Now, with respect to your question about Arvind Kejriwal, let me tell you that he is just the single person, and Aam Aadmi Party is the only party that is talking about the things that are relevant to the people. So they are talking about education, they are talking about healthcare, they're talking, so basically the entire Delhi model, which they have been able to prove again and again, 2015, 2020, the thumping majority was not by fluke. The Delhi model is sound, it is easy to defend, and they have replicated these victories in Punjab as well. And I'm pretty sure the kind of discourse they have set.
Mr. Guru Prakash, pertinent points raised by Shubh Malhotra. Respond.
If I could add one little thing. Panelist from the Aam Aadmi Party, I think it's my chance, my opportunity.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Guru Prakash.
I was patiently listening to my friend from the Aam Aadmi. Yes. No, and also if you can allow me to respond to my friend Tehseen, remembers demonetization, but he refuses to acknowledge what McKinsey has said, that it is not going to be India's decade but India's century. Is McKinsey also a BJP outfit? I fail to understand. He refuses to acknowledge that IMF and World Bank, they have predicted that the 5th largest economy, we are a land of opportunities. So you can remember demonetization, but when you refuse to acknowledge the indications from these agencies, it is really prejudiced and biased. Now coming to the Aam Aadmi Party, yes, your model of governance is definitely something to watch out for. Safai Karmchari in Delhi, Safai Karmchari of Delhi have been in Hartal. You haven't paid salary to them. In Punjab, you were appreciating the model of governance in Punjab. Lakhs of students belonging to Dalit community, they have denied the scholarship. Lakhs of government employees of Punjab, they have not received the salary. Is this your model of governance in Punjab and in Delhi, madam? 25 lakh rupees for construction of one toilet. Is this not corruption, madam? Schools, only one school campus you are running, evening school and morning school, and you are saying that there are 2 schools running. So that is the corruption model of Aam Aadmi Party. And the leadership of Aam Aadmi Party, Mr. Gopal Italia, what did he say about the people of Gujarat, about the followers of Swami Narayan Sampradaya? If they are not hitting, if they are not denigrating, they are not insulting the Asmita of Gujarat, then who is? Also, do remember your electoral performances in Uttar Pradesh, in Bihar. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal came to Kashi in 2014 and he never returned back to Kashi since 2014. There is absolutely no presence of Aam Aadmi Party. You lost deposit in the Uttar Pradesh assembly polls as well. So you remember Punjab, you remember Delhi, but also think and reflect about your electoral performances in other states as well. You have lost deposits, you have history of losing deposits. So we have to understand the people of Gujarat for the last 27 years. 2014 clean sweep in parliamentary elections, 2019 clean sweep in parliamentary election. Please have some faith in the democratic DNA of our people. They are more intelligent than you and I can ever be. It is the democracy that is the cornerstone of our constitution.
Sanjay
so not just insult the DNA of our voters. You have to understand that.
Sanjay Jha, that's the real question. The question is, are we underestimating the power of the common man?
Well, Navika, let me tell you, on December 8th, we'll get a verdict. But I do want to tell Shubh Malhotra, you know, the reason why I find Aam Aadmi Party is probably one of the most dubious, questionable political parties in India. They did not make a single comment, Navika, on the Bilkis Banu case, where the rapists were released. They did not say a single word. And that's why the Congress has got a legitimate right to say that this is a party that actually is more communal than the pretensions of secularism that they demonstrate for public consumption. My only point to Mr. Guru Prakash is, you know, Guru Prakash, you and I will probably be on the channel on December 8th when the heat and dust of the elections are over. But India is today asking a question. What prompted the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, to actually remind people of the 2002 Gujarat riots, where over 1,000 Indian citizens died? It doesn't matter whether they belong to one community or the other, Guru Prakash. But you're a modern guy. I want to ask you this question. What made the Home Minister talk about the Gujarat 2000 riots and saying, we taught them a lesson, and then talk about a permanent peace in Gujarat, which we all know is, by the way, a piece of fiction? So what prompted the party and the Home Minister to indulge
was misquoted and the correction was put out. If you care to read the correction, he had said that since 2002 there have been no other riots
Navika,
in Gujarat.
I can't hear you for a minute.
Yeah, obviously, because it's the correct version I'm giving. Sometimes hearing that is a problem. But he did. There was a correction. There was a correction which said that he only said that since 2002 there have been no other riots in Gujarat, and it was handled, and people who had rioted were taught a lesson. After that they haven't rioted, and it was a lesson to all. He didn't single out anybody. But Suhail said the question of rhetoric is Shubh Malhotra right when she says both the parties are indulging in rhetoric? And what would you call Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's statement where he said, मैं तो जन्माष्टमी के दिन पैदा हुआ था और मैं कंस को मारने निकला हूँ? Was that a discussion on the people's issues, or was that once again a leaf out of the Hindutva textbook?
You know, with due respect to Shubh, I thought she was just a political analyst. I didn't know she was also representing this remarkable political party which has caused a revolution in India's electoral democracy called Aam Aadmi Party. But having said that, my advice is as follows. You know, my late grandmother used a word which was very popular in Punjabis in Amritsar called Meesna. Meesna is someone who's deeply insightful, very clever, very sharp, and Kejriwal has all those attributes. I have never denied him two things. Number one, his ability to change the narrative, and number two, his wins in Delhi and then more recently in Punjab. But my issue is with the earlier comments that you made, where you rightly talked about the lack of development or the lacunae in Gujarat. The fact is that we're a democracy. You and I are no one to say, ye hua, wo hua. We can only comment on facts, which is a fair thing. But Modi was elected in Gujarat by the people of Gujarat. The people of Fiji or New Zealand didn't come and elect him. So the people of Gujarat knew which was the best option for them. Whether the option was qua development, qua whatever, but they elected him. It's not that he came in through the back door. Arvind Kejriwal is also contesting through the Aam Aadmi Party in Gujarat. We will see whether the people of Gujarat actually buy into his logic of development or your statement that there's been no development either by the Congress or the Aam Aadmi or the BJP. Having said that, the debate very clearly focuses on one issue. Are we a country that has debased politics by using abuse as a counter to actual electoral development or developmental politics? The answer is yes. The next question is, how do we stem it? Both Navik and Ishkaran have said that, look, it is not within any legal or statutory body to stem the rot. It has to come from within the people. So the people will decide. But the fact I'm saying is, every time someone abuses the other, you actually let the people of India down. Because the people of India want their politicians to work on development, not to work on sharpening their knives.
Well said. And what started with the Maut Ka Saudagar ended with comments like Ravan, Auqat Dikha Denge. Well, and many other counters coming from all other political parties. That really is not the spirit of elections or the dance of democracy as people of India see it. For that to happen, of course, issues are important. But who's really going to be taking these issues seriously? And is it time for people to realize that politics is serious business? And instead of pointing fingers at Prime Minister Narendra Modi on why he's taking elections just so seriously, should they be taking a leaf out of his book and actually play the game as it is supposed to be played, as if it involves the future of Indians, 130 crores of them. Think about it. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, a brutal crackdown was launched by the Punjab police at protesting farmers outside Chief Minister Bhagwant Man's residence in Sangrur today, the home constituency of the Chief Minister. The farmers were lathi charged by the Punjab police when they were carrying out peaceful protests outside the house of Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann over their demands. Dramatic visuals show sloganeering farmers outside the Chief Minister's home clashing with the police and were brutally beaten up with lathis. The farmers were asking for a hike in the minimum wages under the Manrega among their other demands. However, their pleas fell on deaf ears and all they received were lathis of the police. This comes at a time when the Aam Aadmi Party, which has claimed to be the messiah of the farmers, and its leaders like Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia even went to the Sangrur border to show sympathy and solidarity with protesting farmers just 2 years ago in 2020. Today, they seem to have abandoned the same farmers. And Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann, of course, was not available in Punjab. He was busy campaigning for Gujarat polls at a time when these protests were taking place. Listen in to the SSP of Sangrur.
लाठीचार्ज बिल्कुल नहीं किया गया है। यहाँ पे जो प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा है वो बहुत ही शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से चल रहा है। और कुछ एक फ्रैक्शन जो इनका है प्रोटेस्टर्स का, उसने थोड़ा एग्रेसिव होकर पुलिस के साथ में स्कफल करने की कोशिश की, तो जिसको इनके मोतबार लोगों ने और पुलिस के अफसरों ने बड़ा शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से उसको साइड में करके और जो है इस धरने को पीसफुली रखवाया है। कि जो डिमांड्स है वो हमने डीसी साहब के थ्रू सीएम साहब के ऑफिस से साथ में टाई अप करके और इनका मीटिंग का शेड्यूल हम करवा रहे हैं।
Of course, the BJP and the Congress party lost no time in hitting out at the AAP government. Listen in.
Well, it's extremely unfortunate in a democratic dispensation. Everybody has a constitutional right to protest. If the government is not able to meet the demands of a particular section of society, be it farmers, be it teachers, be it other sections of society, the correct way is to talk to them rather than lathi charge them. And insofar as the farmers are concerned, they are the people who feed the entire nation. So therefore, under those circumstances, when you're dealing with farmers, you need to be extra sensitive.
जो पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री गुजरात में जाकर आज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके कह रहे हैं कि हम गुजरात के लोगों को मुफ्त बिजली देंगे, और पंजाब के लोग जब उनसे घर इंसाफ लेने जाते हैं तो उन किसानों को दौड़ा कर पीटते हैं, उनकी पगड़ियां उतारते हैं, उन औरतों को, माताओं को, बहनों को पीटते हैं जो हमारा अन्नदाता है। ये असली चेहरा है अरविंद केजरीवाल का, जो कहता कुछ है करता कुछ है। मैं गुजरात के लोगों को आज कहना चाहता हूं, पंजाब का सारा पैसा लुटा रहे हैं गुजरात में चुनाव प्रचार में, और जब किसान अपना हक मांगते हैं इस तरह से लोगों को पीटने का काम करते हैं। ये पंजाब के अंदर फ्री दे रहे हैं, अगर मिल रहा है तो कुटाई और डंडे ही फ्री में मिल रहे हैं पंजाब में, और कुछ नहीं मिल रहा।
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining my other panelist is Dr. Akashdeep Muni, political analyst, follows the Aam Aadmi Party very closely. And I want to ask you, Mr. Akashdeep Muni, I'm reading out two tweets that were put out by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and Mr. Manish Sisodia. अरविंद केजरीवाल से शांतिपूर्ण प्रदर्शन कर रहे किसानों पर इस तरह लाठीचार्ज करना सरासर गलत है. This was 30th November 2020. And then Manish Sisodia, police lathicharge, tear gas and angry public. Democracy being buried here at India Gate. How will they celebrate Republic Day here? This was Manish Sisodia. Today, I hope you've seen the visuals in Sangrur. Today, why the same lathi charge on the same hapless farmers? Just because they are at the Aam Aadmi Party's chief minister's doorstep, so they don't have the right to protest there?
Very interesting question. I'll answer all the questions one by one. First and foremost, Navika ji, these are laborers who work in farmlands. This is the term that we should use.
अच्छा, तो लेबरर्स हैं, लेबरर्स हैं, किसान है ही नहीं. लेबरर्स को आप मार सकते हैं. No, you are saying these are laborers, these are not farmers, so laborers can be beaten up. Laborers, is that what you are trying to say? Laborers can be beaten up.
I want to tell to the people watching News Hour today that first and foremost, what these laborers are asking, why this protest is happening. This protest is happening because these laborers are asking that the ST community, laborers who are from the ST community, they should get 5 marla plots because they are poor. Very true. They should get. Second point, what they are asking for, that they should be part of the cooperative society so that they can be getting easy loans. Very good. They should be there. Jora Singh Narsali, president of Punjab Khet Mazdoor Union, said this 13 days ago that, 7 days ago, that Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann met them in Chandigarh and then he verbally promised. Why they are protesting now? They are protesting now because this has not been given in written. Punjab Chief Minister has said that give us some time, this will be given in written. He has promised verbally. This same promise was pending since last 10 years. And my fellow panelists can tell. You know, Tazin setting Congress promised, never promised even. And other BJP supporters are also waiting. You know, 10 years, not promised one thing. 8 months, verbal promise has been given and written promise will be given as soon as possible. This is the reality of that. And
amazing. So written promise not given, and therefore they are protesting, which they shouldn't be. And the question is now being asked of the Congress party. Congress party, jawab dein please. Tehseen Poonawalla.
This Aam Aadmi Party, Aapka Paap, is exactly the younger brother of the Bharatiya Jhoota Party. I'll tell you why. From Modi ji, who blames Nehru ji for everything, Aapka Paap blames Congress for everything. अरे भैया आप पावर में हो ना, आप बोल देते जैसे मोदी जी, और आप एक एफिडेविट दे देते, भैया मुझसे कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं नेहरू जी को ब्लेम करूंगा, और केजरीवाल कहते भैया मुझसे कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं मोदी जी और राहुल गांधी को ब्लेम कर दूंगा। भैया आपको क्यों चुना गया है? क्यों आपने वोट मांगा? और वोट लेते समय आपने तो कहा था ना, भैया हमको तो पता है हम पंजाब को चेंज करेंगे। अच्छा, इफ यू कैन नॉट चेंज इन कांग्रेस टुडे, व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू डू इन गुजरात?
जुमले तो खुद बना लीजिए, इतना तो कर लीजिए, थोड़ा सा ओवर। आप थोड़ा सा आइए इधर संगरूर आइए, चंडीगढ़ आइए, देखिए प्रॉब्लम क्या है। द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट 5 मारला की जमीन,
प्रॉब्लम इज दैट अरविंद केजरीवाल डज नॉट नो गवर्नेंस। द प्रॉब्लम इज, आप बताओ, मैं दूंगा आपको पाठशाला, देता आपको मधुशाला, दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम। प्रॉब्लम इज सत्येंद्र जैन इज इन जेल।
10 साल तक
प्रॉब्लम इज दैट यू शो टॉयलेट्स एज क्लासरूम्स। Problem is you all give nobody electricity off. Problem is you all use Delhi का money in Punjab, Punjab का money in Gujarat. Problem is you all said कि मैं आपको दूंगा पाठशाला, दिया आपने मधुशाला. That is the problem. That is the problem. Problem is आपका
दर्शकों देखो, पता नहीं है, कांग्रेस पार्टी को पता ही नहीं क्या चल रहा है ग्राउंड में। सब मधुशाला, पता ही नहीं ग्राउंड में क्या चल रहा है।
कल तक साथी थे, they were all with the farmers. Today they are quibbling between themselves, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, on who has let down the farmers more. Ishkaran Bhandari, can there be anything that is more ironic than this?
Navika ji, for all the 1,000 words of explanation that was given by Mr. Muni, we can see what is happening on the TV screen. There are people, they are protesting, farmers / laborers, I don't see what's the difference, who are being brutally beaten by the police. Is that it? Is that why you wanted state police? So that you can beat up people who have come to your doorsteps with a faryad, asking their rights, and has been told, there were people from the SC community who were asking for basic right to land or a basic plot of land, and you beat them? Wasn't the better way to treat them nicely with dignity and then take whatever decision you have to take in their interest? But all the explanation, 1 second, please don't interrupt. I didn't interrupt you. Please. There is nothing you can say here which will justify beating them up so brutally. The thing to have been done would have been, you should have apologized and taken action on those people who did this beating. But if you try to justify it, people can see the visuals where how the lathis are being wielded and how the poorest of
नहीं, आप क्या बताएंगे? आकाशदीप पुनी जी, आप क्या बताएंगे? Will you tell us that these are not farmers and these are laborers? Will you justify that laborers can be beaten up? Farmers or laborers, they can be beaten up, and this is why you needed law and order in your hands, so that this is what you could do to farmers and laborers. Is that what you're going to explain?
Done. 2 questions at one time. I'll answer both the questions. First of all, this particular protesters have blocked the road of Patiala and Sangrur. And they have blocked the whole road. People,
so they are responsible.
Well, Guru Prakash, Mr. Guru Prakash, will you tell Mr. Akashdeep Muni, when the farmers were protesting on the border of Delhi, they had jammed the entire highway right up to Rajasthan, and that is why the government wanted them to settle down, but it was the Aam Aadmi Party that went there and gave them a shoulder to cry on and a lot of support कि हम आके आपको देखेंगे। नोएडा का बॉर्डर भी बंद कर दीजिए, दिल्ली यूपी बॉर्डर, दिल्ली हरियाणा and Rajasthan border, everything you should shut off. And today one highway shut off, and they react with lathis.
Stop me on one line.
1 minute. No, Akashdeep Puni, you've said it's Guru Prakash's turn after that. Guru Prakash ji.
चलिए ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं।
Yes, Navika ji, I was patiently listening to our friends from different political parties on this issue, but Navika ji, I'm surprised. आई एम अपोल्ड। इस देश में गरीब, दलित, शोषित, पीड़ित, श्रमिक और मजदूर होना पाप है क्या? आप मजदूर नहीं हो सकते हैं क्या? आप मजदूर हैं तो आपके ऊपर लाठीचार्ज किया जाएगा क्या? लेबरर थे, फार्मर नहीं थे? व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ माइंडसेट इज दिस? व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ माइंडसेट इज दिस? लेबरर थे तो मारेंगे, लेबरर है तो उसकी माता बहनों को मारोगे आप? क्या अधिकार? कौन आपने, किसने ये अधिकार दिया है आपको? आई एम सिंपली सरप्राइज्ड एंड एस्टोनिश्ड टू सी द sheer arrogance of this man from the आम आदमी पार्टी। लेबरर थे, फार्मर नहीं थे? What sort of mindset is this? In a democracy, we have right to protest. Please remember that dissent is the essence of democracy. Dissent is this. मैं आपके, अरे भैया ये नाविका जी, ये तू मैं नहीं करना है, तू मैं करना है क्या? नाविका जी ये इनको बुलवा लीजिए। क्या तू सुनने का धैर्य रखो भैया, सुनने का धैर्य रखो।
आकाशदीप मुनि जी,
आप अपने बारे में बोला ना, आपने अपने बारे में।
No lathi charge on the news hour, please. Calm down. Calm down. Last 30 seconds, Guru Prakash, finish your point.
You spoke on your turn. Please have the patience to listen to other people as well. If they are not laborer, they are not kisan, who has given you the right to use lathis on them? Women, children, किसने आपको अधिकार दिया है? They are blocking the road. Every day there is a road blockage. Everywhere do you do the lathi charge? Will you beat up people? Who has given you this right? Punjab is in a debt of more than 3 lakh crore, sir. 3 lakh crore rupees debt is on your government. You have no accountability for that. More than lakhs of students, Dalit category students, they have not got their scholarship yet. Who is responsible for that? Look at the law and order situation in Punjab. You have zero governance model.
And ladies and gentlemen, just while this was happening outside the house, the home of the Chief Minister of Punjab, Mr. Maan, well, you know where he was away? He was away campaigning in Gujarat. At the same time, when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal was questioning governance of the Prime Minister and why he was campaigning in Gujarat and in Delhi, his own Chief Minister was campaigning in Gujarat while farmers stroke laborers were being lathi charged outside his own house in his home constituency. Well, that's irony served on a platter by the Aam Aadmi Party. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists and thank you viewers for joining me on the News Hour at 9. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, the same channel on the News Hour at 9.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
हम ये भी पूछना चाहेंगे आज कि जब आपकी पार्टी एक रेप अक्यूज्ड राम रहीम को पैरोल पे छोड़ती है और मंत्रीगण
कोर्ट कौन चलाता है?
पैरोल कौन देता है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
पैरोल कौन दे रहा है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? मैं दोबारा कह रही हूँ, कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस सरकार, जहां पर मीडिया की नजर 24 घंटे है, जहां सिटीजन्स एंगेजमेंट है 24 घंटे, वहां पर इफेक्टिवली खुद को कटघरे में खड़े होने के लिए कोई भी राजनेता इस प्रकार का कोई कदम लेगा?
पर लोग जा रहे हैं,
नहीं है।
उनके प्रवचनों पर आपके मंत्री जाते हैं।
मैं दोबारा कहती हूं, अगर एक लॉ के मर्यादा में कोई भी कोर्ट कोई निर्णय लेता है, मैं दोबारा सीजीआई ने हाल फिलहाल में ये कहा कि भाई कोर्ट डरते हैं, मैं उस पर भी टिप्पणी नहीं कर रही हूं। मेरा ये आपसे पूछना है कि आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस एक पॉलिटिशियन इस प्रकार का निर्णय लेगा? नहीं लेगा।
नहीं लिया और पैरोल पे अगर कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर भी आए राम
तो फिर
रहीम,
दोबारा तो आप जब प्रश्न पूछ रही थी तो आपको कोर्ट के संदर्भ में कहना चाहिए था।
लेकिन वो बाहर अगर आए हैं तो आप उनकी
मैं दोबारा कह रही हूं कि अगर वो कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर आए हैं तो आप कटघरे में पॉलिटिशियन को क्यों खड़ा कर रहे हैं?
क्योंकि पॉलिटिशियन वहां बैठकर सत्संग देख रहे।
मैं गई थी
नहीं, पर आपकी पार्टी के लोग गए थे।
मैं गई थी। इसका मतलब कोई पुरुष नेता कुछ करेगा तो आप पुरुष से नहीं कहेंगे, महिला आपके सामने आएगी उससे पूछेंगे।
हेडलाइन
नो, नॉट अ हेडलाइन, दिस इज हार्डली वन।
नहीं, पर
जी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
ये सब आपके कॉलीग्स हैं, ये वहां जाकर सत्संग में बैठते हैं, आपको बुरा नहीं लगता?
पहले तो मैं दोबारा कहती हूँ, आप जब सत्संग शब्द का इस्तेमाल करती हैं, कहीं ना कहीं आप इस बात को कुरेद रहे हैं, सिंस यू कॉल्ड मी हार्डकोर हिंदू टू बिगिन विद।
मैंने नहीं कहा, वो जवाहर सरकार ने कहा।
बट आई नो दैट यू हैव रीपोजिशन्ड इट एंड योर जक्सटापोजिशन इज वेल नोटेड। आप ये इसलिए कह रही हैं ताकि मेरे अंदर के हिंदू को कुरेद दें और बार बार कहें अरे सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए। दूसरे धर्म में आपको दिखाई दिए हैं कोई जो रेप के आरोपी हैं, मर्डर के आरोपी हैं? आप किसी भी मंच से किसी और धर्म के बारे में ऐसा बोलती हैं? या आपको हार्डकोर हिंदू आज मिला है मंच पे तो इसलिए हिंदू है तो इससे पूछ लेते हैं?
अच्छा, अब सवाल पूछने के लिए पहले
हिंदू विद अ सरनेम कॉल्ड ईरानी। हाँ,
आप हिंदू हैं कि पारसी हैं शादी के बाद?
देखिए, पारसी रिलीजन में धर्मांतरण नहीं होता, और धर्मांतरण होता तो भी मैं गर्व से हिंदू हूं, मैं नहीं करती।
पहले कहा जाता था कि कांग्रेस तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करती है।
पहले ही कहा जाता था,
अब भी कहा जाता है। तो कांग्रेस तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करती है और आप मेजॉरिटेरियनिज्म की राजनीति करते हैं। आप पर
80 करोड़ नागरिक।
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
The Karnataka Waqf Board announced that it will establish self-funded schools and colleges in the state. Students will be allowed to wear hijabs to classes in these institutions. Challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act in the Supreme Court, DMK alleged that it leaves out Tamil refugees and is against India's secular fabric as it relates to only 3 countries and is confined to only 6 religions. The Enforcement Directorate arrested alleged Sisodia aide Amit Arora in connection with the alleged Delhi excise policy scam. He was later produced in court. In the matter of TMC leader Anubrata Mondal's bail plea in the alleged cattle scam case, CBI has sought time to file a reply. The next hearing is set to take place on the 16th of December. After a ransomware attack crippled AIIMS services, AIIMS Delhi has decided to get 4 new servers from the DRDO.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़ीग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे। देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारी यात्रा का, आज तक की हमारी राजनीतिक यात्रा का एक वादा रहा है देश की जनता से। और न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी, संविधान सभा ने भी देश भर के विधानमंडलों को और संसद को ये सलाह दी है कि जब भी उचित समय आए यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड इस देश में आना चाहिए, क्योंकि किसी भी पंथ निरपेक्ष राष्ट्र के लिए, राज्य के लिए धर्म के आधार पर कानून नहीं होने चाहिए। अगर राष्ट्र और राज्य पंथ निरपेक्ष है तो धर्म के आधार पर कानून कैसे हो सकते हैं? हर धर्म के
Good evening and welcome. You are watching the Newshour agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Just asked to go for phase 1 polling of Gujarat. The gloves are completely off. Abuses flying thick and fast across battle lines. Pushed into a corner by a massive offensive launched by the BJP over insults hurled at the Prime Minister after its newly elected President Mallikarjun Kharge compared the PM to Ravan and Jhuto Ka Sardar. The Congress today decided to pay back in the same coin by releasing a compilation of what they call were derogatory statements by the Prime Minister against leaders of the Congress. And the Congress said that the BJP of all parties has absolutely no locus standi to grandstand when it comes to Gaali politics.
हिंदुस्तान का तीसरी कक्षा का बच्चा तो हिंदुस्तान के राज्यों का नाम बोल पाएगा, लेकिन ये इटली की बेटी नहीं बोल पाएगी।
ये कांग्रेस की कौन सी विधवा थी?
हिमाचल के दौरे पर मनमोहन सिंह जी आए थे। देश को किसी के भी हाथों में डाल देना और नाइट वॉचमैन की परंपरा चलाना, ये उन्होंने चालू किया।
क्या ऐसा खूनी पंजाब फिर से चाहिए आपको?
बाथरूम में रेनकोट पहन करके नहाना, ये कला तो डॉक्टर साहब ही जानते हैं और कोई नहीं।
ये कांग्रेस पार्टी की सड़ी हुई मानसिकता भी वो दीमक की तरह है।
और मुझे ये बताओ, क्या कहीं पानी की पाइपलाइन आप लगा के गए थे? क्या आपके नाना नानी दादा दादी लगा के गए थे?
पैसे दिए कह रहे हो, मैं जरा जानना चाहता हूँ कि मामा के घर से लाए थे क्या ये पैसे? देश में कभी किसी ने 50 करोड़ की गर्लफ्रेंड देखी है? 50 करोड़ की गर्लफ्रेंड।
So today the Congress said ये public है, ये सब जानती है, and no one can play holier than thou when it comes to using abusive language or derogatory statements in politics. But this wasn't all. Adding more firepower to its two-pronged attack on the BJP, the Congress leaders then went on to play the Dalit card to gun for the Saffron Party. One after the other, senior leaders alleged that Mallikarjun Kharge was being targeted by the BJP because he belongs to the most deprived community, because he comes from the Dalit community. Supriya Srinath dubbed criticism of Kharge's comments as BJP's anti-Dalit tirade. This comes after the BJP went ballistic against Kharge for these remarks.
और आपके जैसा आदमी जो हमेशा क्लेम करते हैं मैं गरीब हूं, मैं वो, हम भी गरीब है, हम तो गरीब से गरीब है, हम तो अछूतों में आते हैं। कम से कम तुम्हारी चाय तो कोई पीता है, मेरी चाय भी नहीं पीता कोई। और फिर बार आप बोलते हैं कि मैं गरीब हूं, मेरे को किसने गालियां दिया, मेरी किसी ने कुछ कहा, मेरे को कुछ, तेरी हैसियत क्या है कहा। अरे ऐसे बात कह के अगर आप सिंपैथी जमाने की कोशिश करें तो लोग अब होशियार हो गए, उतने बेवकूफ नहीं है। एक बात चलती है, एक बार अगर झूठ बोलेंगे लोग सुन लेंगे, 2 बार भी बोलेंगे तो भी सुन लेंगे। कितने बार झूठ बोलेंगे? झूठ पर झूठ, ये झूठों के सरदार है।
Unfazed by the Congress's counter-attack, BJP refused to relent on what they called an insult to the people and the pride of Gujarat, calling division the Congress's very ideology and sanskar. The BJP said that it was confident that Gujarat's Janta will avenge the insult to its son.
गुजरात नहीं, पूरे देश के हर चुनाव में सबसे बड़ा चेहरा प्रधानमंत्री है, हमारे सर्वोच्च नेता है, और इतना लोकप्रिय नेता होना भी पार्टी के सौभाग्य की बात है। मैं मानता हूं ये सारी गाली गलौज का जवाब गुजरात की जनता कल 1 तारीख को और 5 तारीख को देगी।
जिस प्रकार के अपशब्दों का प्रयोग आज के कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष के द्वारा किया गया है, इसे मैं केवल आज के कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष मिस्टर खरगे की ही सोच का परिणाम नहीं मानता हूं, बल्कि पूरे कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व की जो जमात है
यह उसकी सोच का परिणाम है।
जिन्होंने प्रभु राम के अस्तित्व को नकारा और ये प्रश्न उपस्थित किया कि क्या सचमुच राम पैदा हुए थे, ऐसे लोग उनको रावण की उपमा दे रहे जिन्होंने 700 साल का कलंक मिटाकर रामलला के मंदिर के निर्माण की शुरुआत की।
BJP leaders, including Rajnath Singh ji, is misleading the entire episode. What Karge ji has to tell today, the newspaper has reported completely. With due respect to Rajnath ji, I am requesting it to him, at least read his speech, then comment on it.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, we have Tom Vadakan, spokesperson of the BJP, Yuvraj Pokharna, columnist joining us from Ahmedabad, Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress, Shoaib Jamai, Islamic scholar, political analyst Parvinder Singh Sethi. My first question is to you, Tom Vadakan. You always say that the Prime Minister is abused for his caste. Now the Congress is saying straight away that you are abusing Mr. Kharge, who's a Dalit. You are anti-Dalit.
हिंदी में एक कहावत है पद्मजा, चोर कोतवाल को डांटे। कहा किसने और डांट किसको पड़ रहा है? He said something which is not acceptable across the country against the Prime Minister of this country, the Republic of India. He is not BJP's Prime Minister. He is not Congress Prime Minister, Prime Minister of this country. And you call him what you call, I do not want to repeat what he said, because हमारे संस्कार में ये एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है। अगर आप ये कहते हैं एक अपॉलॉजी ड्यू है, प्रधानमंत्री इलेक्शन कैंपेन के बीच में आप बिना संस्कार ऐसे शब्द इस्तेमाल करें, तो मैं समझता हूं कि ये गलत है। और अगर उसको आप आगे लेकर उसको दलित फैक्टर इंक्लूड करोगे, so that's I mean, you know, changing the narrative.
Qamar Zaman Chaudhary. So now it's come down to this. It is what is instilled on you in terms of your ethics and your morals.
You know, Padmaja, I find a very uncanny similarities between today and a past which we all would want to forget. A world history, a part of our world history. You know, they are the Weimar Republic. They were also corrupt, considered to be corrupt by the ruling party then, and cowardly, just like the Congress party, according to these people sitting on the panel. Now the question remains out here that a Prime Minister of the country who has got his idols from the RSS, who is from a humble background, nobody is denying that. He must be from he fought the crocodiles. He slept in the pavements of the platforms, he sold tea in the platforms, then he invented the telephone when even we did not have the basic technology. So these are all rhetorics that the people like to enjoy.
The telephone?
And the most unfortunate part is that the ecosystem believes in what he says. That's the most unfortunate part.
Sir, I don't know who the ecosystem is, but I know for a fact that the Prime Minister did not invent the telephone.
The name calling is.
I don't know when he claimed it, but even if he did, I know for a fact that he did not invent the telephone. I learned this in school. That being said, respond to what is being said कि ये आपको संस्कार instill किए हुए that it's okay to abuse a man and make casteist comments.
No, we never used to insult any. Rather, we were insulted. Don't you remember those words when bar ki ladki, iske baad mein 50 crore girlfriend, or when he came to campaign in Bengal, the Didi or Didi cat calling? Who has done all these things? Today, the Congress party has released a video to just show these people. They look back and reflect at what you have, how you have insulted the Congress's leaders over the period of time. But then you will not learn.
All right, so all of the BJP utterances we'll come to in just a second, but let me quote to you some specifics, Yuvraj Pokharna. Today we have Mohan Kumar Mangalam saying this isn't the first time someone in the BJP has tried to marginalize a leader from the Dalit community by referring to them as fringe. If they had their way, there would be no affirmative action. Then you've had Supriya Srinath also saying that
The BJP is deliberately insulting Mr. Kharge because he is somebody who comes from a marginalized community, who belongs to a Dalit community. So essentially, जिसको कहते हैं कि giving you a taste of your own medicine. आप प्रधान बीजेपी मोदी जी के ऊपर ओबीसी का कार्ड खेलती हैं, खड़गे जी का दलित का कार्ड खेल दिया. Now,
so namaste Padmaja. I think our learned friends in the Congress are not very much aware of the name of Mr. Kovind ji, जो हमारे राष्ट्रपति थे. Kovind, I think, was a Dalit leader, if I'm not mistaken. And अभी भी जो president है हमारे, she hails from a very very humble background and she's a tribal leader herself. So मैं ये charge accept नहीं कर पाता. And when Congress cries foul, it is a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. Or when it comes to taking political jibes and pot shots, it is a reality that we need to agree. But what Congress involves in, it is not merely political jibing. It is actually cussing the PM. And let me quote a few instances. Give me just 30 seconds. Sonia Gandhi in 2007, मौत का सौदागर. प्रियंका गांधी, नीच राजनीति. राहुल गांधी, खून की दलाली. राहुल गांधी चौकीदार चोर है. खड़गे जी का तो जाने देते हैं. मधुसूदन मिस्त्री, इनको उनके औकात दिखाएंगे. संजय निरुपम, मोदी अनपढ़ गवार. मणिशंकर अय्यर, नीच आदमी. And let us let us go with the best one. Okay. Best as in the best for the Congress. Salman Khurshid in 2014. PM Rapunsak है. Imran Masood, बोटी बोटी कर देंगे इनकी. And last not the least, in January 2020, a veteran Congress leader who's no more with us, Nillai Kannam, he exhorted the Muslims to assassinate PM Modi. So, do you think these are political jibes or these are political pot shots?
Okay, these are not just jibes, these have gone on to threats
to assassinate the PM.
Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, you didn't stop at even distasteful comments, you went on to threaten.
And the worst part, these are not even real threats. These are blatant threats.
No, Padmaja, I like to bring a different discourse, this thing to the debating table today. You know, the likes of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Jawaharlal Nehru, or those times when their political discourse between opposing sides was at such a high level that one used to acknowledge the accomplishments of other politicians in this thing. Though we would have been a bitter rivals, they were. But then they never stooped such low as describing a woman who has lost her husband, who has lost her mother-in-law to terrorist attacks, to Italike bar dancer. These are the comments that these people from the Hindutva right-wing extremist groups.
Terrible as it is, who called her that? Are you saying the Prime Minister said that?
Ex-President. Now this is the condition, you know, that's why I am comparing present-day ruler of India with that erstwhile ruler of Germany. Because there are uncanny similarities. Both belong to the poor families. But
okay, quick response, Yuvraj Pokharna, then I bring in Shoaib Jamai. Quick response, Yuvraj Pokharna. Nobody can claim to be holier than thou, and that is the bottom line. Everyone is using it to their advantage.
Either you're gravely mistaken or you're misleading the nation. It's a baseless allegation. And if you're referring to our erstwhile PM, that is Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, तो उन लोगों ने magnanimity दिखाई, कांग्रेस भी दिखा सकती है. You had the power for 70 years. You can be magnanimous. आप खुलेआम ये बोलोगे कि PM को मार दो, बोटी बोटी कर दो, नीच आदमी है, कुत्ते की मौत मरेगा. Is this the political discourse, the high moral ground that you're preaching us right now?
Shoaib Jamai, quoting Atal ji, it is being said कि मतभेद होना चाहिए, मनभेद नहीं होना चाहिए. Yuvraj Pokharna is saying it has gone beyond मनभेद. Now you're talking about बोटी बोटी. तो आप मनभेद की क्या बात कर रहे हैं? चीजें इतनी खराब हो गई हैं that अब तो मतलब तू तड़ाक पे बात आ गई है.
मैं तो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी का बड़ा सम्मान करता हूं. उनके श्रद्धांजलि में जाने का मुझे मौका मिला. आज ही मैं उनका वीडियो देख रहा था. वो ये भी कह रहे थे कि उन्होंने नेहरू के सामने ये कह दिया था कि आप चैम्बरलिन भी हैं और आप जो है एक और उन्होंने किसी तानाशाह का नाम लिया. तो ये बात कहने के बाद नेहरू जी ने उनसे कुछ नहीं कहा और एक बाद में खाने पे मिले बैंक्वेट हॉल में तो कहा कि आज तो बहुत जोरदार भाषण दिए और मुस्कुरा के चल दिए. तो ऐसे थे नेहरू जी. लेकिन आज आप देख लीजिए, जरा सी बातें हो जाती है, लोग राजनीतिक जो है बहुत ज्यादा मतलब शत्रुता हो जाती है, एनिमी बन जाते. आई डोंट थिंक इट्स अब्यूज. दो रावण वाज अ वेरी लर्नेड मैन एंड इवन वर्शिप्ड बाय सो मेनी पीपल इन इंडिया. ही वाज अ ब्राह्मण. और मैं नहीं मानता हूं, इसको अलग कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप लीजिए. हाँ, उसका अल्टीरियर मोटिव्स था.
उसने जो किया वो बहुत गलत था, लेकिन ही वॉज अ वेरी लर्नेड मैन।
अच्छा,
लेकिन आज इस एजेंडे पे मैं एक बात आपको बता रहा हूं, 30 सेकंड लूंगा कि देखिए एक गांव में
अगर आप कभी इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट करेंगे, आप रावण को अपना इलेक्शन सिंबल बना के लड़ेंगे? क्योंकि यू होल्ड रावण इन सच हाई एस्टीम, आप रावण को इलेक्शन सिंबल बना लीजिए।
ऑलरेडी है वो भीम आर्मी का जो चीफ है, वो अपने नाम पे रावण ये पूछे, दिक्कत नहीं है। अपने बच्चों का नाम रावण रखोगे? मानते नहीं। और यू नो मेजोरिटी ऑफ द हिंदूज आर इन एक्चुअली द दलित, मतलब अगर आप देखेंगे रियलिटी में तो। बहरहाल मैं जो एक बात पॉइंट आउट करना चाह रहा था वो ये, ना कांग्रेस ना बीजेपी ये दोनों आपस में खेल रहे हैं। एक चालाक बाप जो ऊंची जाति का, उसने कह दिया कि बेटा तुम इस तरफ लड़ो, दूसरा कह दिया तुम इस तरफ लड़ो, ये उसके खिलाफ चुनाव लड़ते हैं, ये उसके खिलाफ 5 साल ये रहेंगे, 5 साल दूसरा रहेगा। आपस में लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड मत बनाइए, लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाना बंद कीजिए। ऑप्शंस और भी हैं। अब जनता अपने तरीके से चुनाव लड़ेगी और आपको देखेंगे कि तीसरा मोर्चा अगले चुनाव में आप बड़ी मजबूती से
तीसरा मोर्चा। और आपने एक तीसरा इंटरप्रिटेशन दिया है रावण को भी। टॉम वटक्कन, वुड यू वांट टू रिस्पॉन्ड? एक्चुअली मिस्टर जमाई थिंक्स दैट दिस इज एक्चुअली अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट टू मिस्टर मोदी, सेइंग कि आप ओमनिसिएंट हैं, आप बहुत विद्वान हैं, आप एक ब्राह्मण हैं, आप सर्वविदित हैं। टॉम वटक्कन।
पद्मजा, मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि आफ्ताब भी एक ऑनरेबल आदमी है। बहुत अभी जो हालात में जो 36 पीसों में एक महिला का पीसेस में जो काटा, वो भी मैं अगर रावण भी बड़ा मतलब रिस्पेक्टेबल आदमी है तो मैं समझता हूँ अब इस हालात में सोहेब साहब आप आफ्ताब को भी एक ऐसा पर्सनालिटी कहेंगे कि भाई बहुत रिस्पेक्टेबल है। मैं कुछ नहीं कहूंगा, बस यही कंपैरिजन करूंगा।
आफ्ताब इज वेरी इंसल्टिंग टू द प्राइम मिनिस्टर सर, प्लीज डोंट कंपेयर हिम विद द आफ्ताब, डोंट कंपेयर प्राइम मिनिस्टर विद द आफ्ताब।
मैं रावण को कंपेयर कर रहा हूँ भाईजान, समझने की कोशिश करो। अगर रावण रिस्पेक्टेबल है, आफ्ताब भी रिस्पेक्टेबल हो जाएगा आपके हिसाब में। आपके किताबों में आफ्ताब को भी वो टर्मिनोलॉजी में कहेंगे जनाब आफ्ताब, आपने बहुत बड़ा काम किया, और रावण के साथ आप उसको साथ बिठाएंगे। मैं बस इतना ही कंपैरिजन कर।
Okay, let's just keep Aftab out of this. But again, since you are talking about the names being called to the Prime Minister Yuvraj Pokharna, what about इटली की बेटी मनमोहन? ये शावर में भी रेनकोट पहन के नहाते हैं, ये चीजें कैसे डेरोगेटरी नहीं है?
Padmaja, I have a small list. As you said, Italian lady, Mon Knight. See, as I said, these are political jibes, and let us be very pragmatic about this. Political parties do take pot shots at their opponents. तो this was another level. But यहाँ तो आप खून की दलाली करते हो, सैनिकों की वोटी कर देंगे, प्रधानमंत्री नपुंसक है। तो I mean, can you compare this? This is like comparing apples with oranges. आप जान से मारने की बातें कर रहे हैं। और अभी बहुत सटल तरीके से our learned friend शोएब जमाई, he used a word कि अपर कास्ट हिंदू की बड़ी जाति। तो शोएब भाईजान, इसमें आप जातियों की बात क्यों लेके आ रहे हैं? फिर तो हम भी पसमानदा मुसलमानों की बात कर सकते हैं सर। आप में भी कितने जातियां हैं? 73 जो सेक्ट आप बोलते हैं, मैं जाति मानता हूं उन्हें। तो फिर हम भी शिया सुन्नी कर सकते हैं, तरीकों की बात कर सकते हैं, सिलसिलों की बात कर सकते हैं। ये इस डिबेट में अब जाति को मत लेके आइए।
Okay, let's just keep that aside also. Is there any comparison between a threat and what can only be taken as taking pot shots at each other, Parvinder Sethi?
नहीं, देखिए उस बात पे भी मैं आऊँगा। पहली बात तो ये है कि देश आज शर्मिंदा है। हमारे देश की टॉप मोस्ट लीडरशिप, जो प्रधानमंत्री से लेकर बड़े बड़े नेता हैं, जैसी भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं, और भाषा की मर्यादा। पहले जो नेता होते थे वो रोल मॉडल होते थे, और जो यूथ था उनको अपना रोल मॉडल बना समझता था। लेकिन आज जो टॉप मोस्ट रोल मॉडल अपने नेता हैं, उनकी भाषा सुनकर देश शर्मिंदा है। आप इस बात को समझिए कि देश के प्रधानमंत्री का हर परिस्थिति में सम्मान होना चाहिए, लेकिन देश के प्रधानमंत्री को भी भाषा की मर्यादा में रहना चाहिए। और उनको इस बात का ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि जो मैं बात कह रहा हूं वो देश में नहीं पूरे संसार के अंदर सुनी जाएगी और उसका कैसा मैसेज जाएगा। आज का जो यूथ है वो आज के पॉलिटिशियन को लाइक नहीं करता। हमें जितने भी राजनीतिक पार्टी हैं सबकी एक कलेक्टिव जिम्मेवारी है कि हम पॉलिटिक्स और पॉलिटिशियन का मायार ऊंचा रखें ताकि लोग फिर से उस किरदार को उसको लाइक करें, उसको अपना रोल मॉडल बनाएं और इसके लिए हम सब लोग जिम्मेवार हैं।
ग्रेट वर्क परविंदर सिंह जी, क्योंकि आप आम आदमी पार्टी का समर्थन करते हैं ऑर्डिनरीली, मैं आपको याद दिला दूं कि कल ही एक वीडियो आया है गोपाल इटालिया का और उनके कई सारे आए हैं जहां पर वो कह रहे हैं कि महिलाओं को कथावाचक के पास नहीं जाना चाहिए। उन्होंने तो मोदी जी को छोड़िए, मोदी जी की माता जी को ही नौटंकीबाज बता दिया। कल वो स्वामीनारायण सेक्ट के लोगों को बुलशिट बोल रहे थे। तो आप स्वच्छ पॉलिटिक्स की बात बहुत अच्छी कर रहे हैं, बट वो हैं फिर भी अभी भी आपके पार्टी के प्रेसिडेंट।
नहीं देखिए, अभी जो गोपाल इटालिया जी को छोड़िए, आप जो टॉप हमारे लीडरशिप है सारी हाईली एजुकेटेड है और भाषा की मर्यादा में और अपने अपोजिशन अपने नहीं है, बिल्कुल है उसको
गोपाल इटालिया जो कि सबको बुलशिट बोलेंगे।
मैं एक बात कर रहा हूं जो टॉप मोस्ट लीडरशिप
टॉप मोस्ट ही है भाई, प्रेसिडेंट है पार्टी के।
लीडरशिप है देश के प्रधानमंत्री से लेके कांग्रेस के नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट ऐसी भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जो आप पहले लीडर्स देखिए वो अपने अपोजिशन वालों की भी रिस्पेक्ट करते थे, साथ में इकट्ठे बैठते थे, एक दूसरे के राजनीतिक काम भी करते थे।
मैं तो आपसे पूछ रही हूं कि यहाँ पे एक ऐसे नेता हैं जो कि प्रधानमंत्री की मां को भी नहीं छोड़े, उनकी माता जी को नौटंकीबाज बोल दिया। माता जी को तो छोड़ दीजिए, माता जी ने क्या किया है?
नहीं उन्होंने कोई नहीं माता देखिए उन्होंने जो कहा क्या कहा मुझे नहीं मालूम, लेकिन मैं इस बात को बताना चाहता हूं
थोड़ी देर में सुना देते हैं। युवराज पोखरना आपको जल्दी से याद दिलाना चाहते हैं, देन वी जस्ट प्ले इट आउट। युवराज पोखरना, यस
सर, आप नेशनल डिबेट में बैठे हैं और आप जिस पार्टी का पक्ष रख रहे हैं आपको मुझे लगता है कुछ पढ़ाई लिखाई करके आनी चाहिए। बहरहाल पद्मजा, लेट अस स्टिक टू द पॉइंट्स. The point is, since 2007, there has been a consistency and constancy with regards to hurling choices abuses at PM Modi. And sir, थोड़ी आप जिस पार्टी से मैं समझ रहा हूँ सभ्यता उस पार्टी में नहीं रहती है, लेकिन मैं आपसे शालीनता से
आपको याद दिला दूं परविंदर सेठी जी, क्योंकि आपने कहा कि टॉप मोस्ट नेताओं की बात करो, छोटे छोटे लोगों की बात मत करो, प्रदेश अध्यक्ष की बात मत करो। आपको जल्दी से याद दिला दूं कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जो कि आप पार्टी समर्थन करते हैं उसके टॉप शीर्षतम नेता हैं, उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री को कावर्ड एंड अ साइकोपैथ बोला था। पर चलिए, एनीवे, गो ऑन, फिनिश योर पॉइंट।
Padmaja, give me 30 seconds. As they say, everything is fair in love or in elections. If hurling choicest abuses to PM Modi gets you anti-Modi votes, gets you majority, then do it. Fine, karo. Lekin look at the numbers. The numbers speak otherwise. Let me list a few consequences. Gujarat 2007 elections, Congress restrained to 59 seats. 2014 elections, Congress 44 seats. UP 2017 elections, Congress 7 seats. 2019 elections 52 सीट्स। तो सर गालियां दे दे के आपका ही नुकसान हो रहा है। लेट मी गिव यू अ वेरी फ्री टिप। प्रधानमंत्री ने खुद एक बार कहा है कि गालियों को गुलदस्ता बनाने की कला मैं सीख चुका हूं। द मोर यू अब्यूज हिम द मोर यू गोना बटरेस हिज इमेज। आप उन्हीं को हेल्प कर रहे हो, क्यों गाली दे रहे हैं आप?
जितनी गाली देंगे कमर जमान चौधरी, द प्राइम मिनिस्टर हिमसेल्फ हैज सेड, उनका टॉनिक जैसा काम करता है।
काट दिया है पूरा
Kamar Zaman Chaudhary. The more he is abused, the more strength he gets.
Of course.
No, that is the simple, Padmaja, this is a simple toolkit at work. The ecosystem jumps on the bandwagon whenever there is some type of name calling happens against the Prime Minister. The marketing department of the IT cell comes into play and blasts this out of proportion. So that's a marketing department out here, but you must understand the greater picture out here. The victim card that the Prime Minister wants to play, the propaganda machinery that the Prime Minister has created an aura around himself.
But sir, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि marketing department of IT cell is prompting Mr. Kharge to call him रावण और झूठ का सौदागर, झूठ का सरदार। या तो आप कह रहे हैं कि जैसे कि अमित मालवीय टेक फॉग यूज करके हर चीज इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, वैसे वो टेक फॉग यूज करके मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी को भी इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं।
Now, Padmaja, let me just cite one small example. During Durga Puja in Calcutta last year, Hindu Mahasabha, which seems to have its idols from Narendra Modi ji, placed a photo of Mahatma Gandhi in the place of Asura. Asura is considered as a demon, then the people out there, they went in to justify that act of depicting Mahatma Gandhi as an Asura. So that way there is no outrage, there is no
actually
uproar,
not, sir,
but
because
then
I remember following this story, and barring one man, the front page of the newspaper that you are quoting, Indian Express itself, said that the justification given was that this is just a person with a similar pair of spectacles. This is not Gandhiji. That is what was the justification given. Anyhow, that being said, is it too much to expect that people would maintain the basic level of civility to each other, going by recent exchanges that we've had publicly, politically, and even on social media virtually? That seems to be expecting too much. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. An explosive new development in the Liquorgate scam case. Today, the Enforcement Directorate made the 6th arrest. In the case, Ankit Arora, the director of Buddy Retail Private Limited, Gurgaon, was arrested under the criminal sections of the Prevention of the Money Laundering Act. He has now been sent to 7 days of ED custody. The CBI, in a recently filed charge sheet, claimed that Amit Arora, along with 2 others, Dinesh Arora, Arjun Pandey, are close associates of the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The charge sheet also said that Arora was actively involved in managing and diverting undue pecuniary advantage collected from liquor licensees to accuse public servants. Now comes the really startling part. The startling charge has emerged in the remand note by the Enforcement Directorate. What does the note say? It says, and listen to this closely, it says Amit Arora collected 2.6 crore rupees in kickbacks which were to be sent to AAP leaders. It claims that Arora arm-twisted other licensees with the help of the Punjab government to surrender their companies. It further says, in April-May 2022, Arora arm-twisted Mahadev Liquor with the help of Punjab government as well as the Delhi government to surrender their companies and to surrender the license. Why? Because this particular liquor vendor was not willing to pay 6% kickback. Quoting verbatim from the ED remand note. Now the charge also is that Amit Arora told another liquor licensee that if it does not pay 6% of the bargain, the company would be closed by the Punjab Excise Department. Finally, the note says that Arora's role in the whole scam is evident from the fact that he not only got 1 L1 license and 2 L7 licenses, but was also actively associated in the other affairs pertaining to the implementation of the excise policy, and that he used to tell people, "Hum hi government." Now, this remand note mentions how the excise policy was tweaked, many approvals given in the middle of the night, as many as 3,048 cases got approvals beyond the working hours, and a loss of 2,000 crores was caused to the exchequer. The CBI had earlier alleged that Amit Arora are associates of the Deputy Chief Minister. Naturally, now the BJP is saying that the noose is tightening in on the top echelons of the party.
Court has given 7 days remand. They had asked for 14 days. They have given for 7 days only. Nothing more, nothing on the merit of the case. Next time they will produce him on 7th.
Sir, what exactly did your client say in court about not knowing Vijay Nair, Manish Sisodia, all these people? He claimed that he has never spoken to them, but the allegations against him are quite grave.
I'll tell you. See, when you get arrested, you definitely get little upset. So there are many allegations which he doesn't even know. But police, in this case ED, they do make all kind of allegations, and because they have filed 32 pages remand. So, but then other person gets little frustrated because he knows that these are the things that he has not done. So it is an outburst.
अमित अरोड़ा जो बड़ी है मनीष सिसोदिया और आम आदमी पार्टी के, हमने सबने देखा है कि किस प्रकार से सवाल का जवाब आज आम आदमी पार्टी दे नहीं रही है, विक्टिमहुड कार्ड खेलती है या कभी कहती है कि हमें क्लीन चिट मिल गई है, जबकि कोर्ट ने आज तक कोई क्लीन चिट नहीं दी, कोई एजेंसी ने क्लीन चिट नहीं दी। आज आम आदमी पार्टी को जवाब देना होगा। अगर घोटाला हुआ ही नहीं शराब घोटाले में, तो फिर न्यू पॉलिसी से हटकर ओल्ड पॉलिसी पर क्यों आए? आज सवाल का जवाब यह भी होना चाहिए कि अगर उनको क्लीन चिट मिली है तो एफआईआर क्वॉश क्यों नहीं हुई? अगर उनको क्लीन चिट मिली है तो उनके नेता विजय नायर चार्जशीटेड और जेल में आज तक क्यों है? बाकी के लोग आज तक क्यों सलाखों के पीछे हैं?
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Rahul Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us along with the political analyst Huda Zariwala, Parvinder Singh Sethi and Akashdeep Muni. Mr. Muni, I want to start with you and I will quote verbatim from what the remand note says. And it makes some very startling claims. It says, point 3.2. He was instrumental, that is Amit Arora, was instrumental in bringing political pressure of state government of Punjab in April-May in getting undue benefits by forcing other players who were not agreeing with the extortion and kickback to surrender their licenses. And he used to say to other persons, "Hum hi government hai."
Should I reply?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Padmaja ji, replying on what Amit Arora says, we have seen a sting operation done by Bharatiya Janata Party, brought into public platform by Bharatiya Janata Party on Mr. Arora, where Mr. Arora is saying n number of things that this happens, that happens. I think Mr. Arora may say anything, but there is not a single proof that Aam Aadmi Party is involved in any type of liquor gate. Now you will say that how? Because there has been a tendering process.
Sir, I am going to stick to what the remand note is saying. Before we go in all different directions, I am asking you a simple question. Here the ED is saying in its remand note, for a person who, by the way, has been granted custody for 7 days, the ED is saying, and I want to underline that why this is shocking is because this is not just restricted to Delhi. Now the Enforcement Directorate is claiming कि दिल्ली से जो pressure लग रहा था वो तो लग रहा था, but that Arora was instrumental in bringing political pressure of the state government of Punjab in April and May in getting undue benefits. तो आपकी सरकार दिल्ली में है एक्साइज पॉलिसी बना रही है, इट इज बीइंग अक्यूज्ड ऑफ, यहां पर आप मिसमैनेजमेंट कर रहे हैं, बट पंजाब सरकार का पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर भी मिसयूज किया जा रहा है इन ऑर्डर टू थ्रेटन द लाइसेंसी होल्डर्स. दिस इज व्हाट द ईडी इज सेइंग हियर.
The ED is whatever ED is saying, these are allegations. If they are proved in court of law, of course they will be true. Let them come to the court of law and then let them prove it.
So are you saying that all of these allegations are false and that to say that Amit Arora was saying hum hi government hain is a lie?
I am saying that whatever Amit Arora is saying cannot be believed upon, because whatever he has said in the sting operation, that also cannot be believed. There is no evidence to it. And whatever ED is saying, these are allegations on the remand note. This has to be, as per the court procedure, this has to be proven in the court of law. When it is proven, of course.
What Amit Arora is saying in your sting operation, what Amit Arora is saying purportedly according to the Enforcement Directorate, and what is being said about the government of Punjab, Charu Pragya, is exactly that. Saying. They are saying it.
Padmaja, that's not a good enough defense, and we know that. And there has been evidence which has been piling up against the misdeeds of Aam Aadmi Party government, and especially Manish Sisodia and his aides. I still want to believe that the kingpin behind all of this is Arvind Kejriwal, because what other reason could he have for not taking action against not one but two of his major ministers for massive scams that he's been shielding and protecting? See, ED has given us certain inputs and insights which are very suspect. Do you know the number?
Okay, I will give you some time to rebut.
I did not interrupt you.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I don't interrupt anyone, and I expect to be given the same courtesy in return. Do you know 140 phones were changed, Padmaja, by the accused? Approximately 34 accused, 140 numbers changed. The cumulative values of the phones that these people used was over 1.3 crore. So when you're putting in so much of money just to change your phones and your numbers, what will be the extent of the corruption? It is said that this commission was increased to a whopping 12%.
Okay, now let's stick to
so
the point of the phones, because there is so much information in this Charu Pragya that people get confused. Hold on a second. You asked Akashdeep Muni that what what is the evidence? Charu Pragya says, अगर कुछ गलत नहीं किया, then why have you changed all your phones? And just to give the detail on that, on how many phones were changed, let me also quote to you from what is said in the remand notice.
140 numbers and phones costing 1.3 crore.
Okay, 140 phones were changed. Why? Why have all of these people changed 140 phone numbers? Akashdeep Muni.
Definitely, if Manish Sisodiya has changed 140 phone numbers, then Charuji, why his name is not
No, not him alone. Him and other accused. I will just put out the names also. Let me actually quote to you for your benefit. Hold on. Let's be factual about it. Point 2.6. Large-scale destruction of digital evidence with an intention to impede the investigation. Here is what the ED is claiming. An attempt was made to see that evidence pertaining to commission of scam running into thousands of crores is either destroyed, which would contain valuable digital data and material to prove further kickbacks. It is pertinent to note that major evidences with respect to liquor scam was stored in digital formats in mobile phones and laptops.
Yes.
However, as soon as the scam was unearthed, large number of digital devices were found to be destroyed. 36 accused, Mr. Akashdeep Muni, between them, 36 accused have destroyed 170 phones. However, and when you say evidence kya hai, the ED says ki 170 phone destroy kiye gaye, but the ED has recovered 17 out of 170. Otherwise, the kickbacks could have been much more, and involvement of other persons would have surfaced. ED says we have 17 phones and data from 17 phones which 36 accused tried to destroy. Question number one, why did they destroy it? 170 phones were destroyed. Why?
I'm just asking one question. What is the evidence against Manish Sisodiya?
Sir, before we keep asking each other questions, let's look for some answers. My question is, if everything is hunky-dory, why were 170 phones were destroyed?
No, I don't know why 170 phones are destroyed by Amit Arora. Amit Arora is nobody of Aam Aadmi
Not Amit Arora alone. Not Amit Arora alone, sir. Let me name to you also now. Okay. Now let me name to you who all are the accused.
Can I
Who all are the accused?
Can I come in?
The accused are, sir, hold on, 36 accused, not just Amit Arora. These accused include Birendra Pal Singh, Aman Dhal, Samir Mahindru, Nitin Kapoor, Geetika Mahindru, Vibhuti Sharma, Vinod Chauhan, Kailash Gehlot, Sunny Marwa, Kulvinder Marwa, and the ED says Manish Sisodiya himself. 36 accused have destroyed 170 phones. Why?
Very true. If Manish Sisodiya and Kailash Gehlot are involved, they should be named in the charge sheet. They should be behind bars. Why aren't they, Charuji? Why aren't they behind bars till now?
Okay.
They have destroyed phones.
Again, we are asking question as a reply to question. Before Charu Pragya answers that, I still am trying to get to the bottom of this because it seems very suspicious. Now, hold on a second. Let me get in Huda Sariwala and Parvinder Sethi also. Huda Sariwala, can you answer my question? Why were 170 phones destroyed by 36 accused as soon as the probe was handed over? And these phones are at the value of 1.38 crores according to the ED. Why were these phones destroyed? Why do you think?
Okay, if there was any truth to the matter that Manish Sisodiya ji was in fact involved in the Liquorgate scam, and these associates, all your Dinesh Arora to Amit Arora to Samir Mahindru, all of these people, if they were in fact working in close association with Manish Sisodiya ji would have been mentioned in the charge sheet. His name not being mentioned in the charge sheet clearly.
But ma'am, you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. Why do you think that 170 phones were destroyed? Or are you saying that this is bunk up? This is a lie. No phone was destroyed.
Okay. No, I'm not.
Because I'm not putting out those numbers. The ED in a table has listed actual numbers. 170 numbers have been listed, which were subsequently destroyed / disabled by the accused. Why do you think this was done?
The ED. clearly the ED, the CBI, they are on this case. If there was important information pertaining to the case, and if the phones were destroyed which contain important information, clearly the ED is doing its work. I mean, with around 800 officials on the case, searching for Manish Sisodia right from his village to his lockers.
Ma'am, you're not answering my question.
Literally,
why were 170 phones destroyed as soon as the ED and CBI took over the probe?
The truth will come to the face of it. The truth will prevail.
But if you are saying the truth will come to the face of it, then why have you already declared Manish Sisodia innocent and Bhagat Singh?
Was Manish Sisodia's name mentioned? Was he in fact mentioned in the charge sheet?
So yes, hold on. So among the phones that were destroyed, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers which are against the name of Mr. Sisodia according to the ED. I reiterate, according to the ED's remand note, 4 numbers which belong to Mr. Sisodia were also destroyed after the probe started. My question is why?
Why?
He didn't like the numbers. He disliked the phones.
Why did the ED not name Manish Sisodia in the charge sheet? If he was in fact guilty of these allegations, these false allegations that are being leveled against him, should not his name been on the top of the list?
It always boils down to this. Charu Pragya, if you have all of these numbers of Manish Sisodia, if you have all of this incriminating evidence, why have you not named Manish Sisodia? In fact, Mr. Kejriwal said कि ये clean chit मिली है ED से क्योंकि आपने नाम नहीं डाला है.
बीजेपी से हम क्लीन चिट लेके आए हैं.
देखिए अभी केजरीवाल जी का इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ हाउ द ईडी वर्क्स हैज फाउंड टू बी फॉल्टी सो मेनी टाइम्स नाउ पद्मजा दैट लेट्स नॉट इवन गेट इनटू दैट डिस्कशन. द मेजर डिस्कशन हियर इज इफ द लिकर पॉलिसी वाज सो गुड, व्हाई वाज इट टेकन बैक? दिस इज सच अ बेसिक सिंपल क्वेश्चन वी हैव बीन रिपीटेडली आस्किंग. सेकेंडली, कमीशन हैज इंक्रीज्ड टू 12%, अनहर्ड ऑफ 12%. Most important point, and why there is a major scam that ED is investigating today. The amount of liquor sale goes up by 50, 60, even 70% in certain cases. But revenue to the state of Delhi has gone down drastically. So where is all this money going? It is going to one set of the liquor lobby, which is best friends with Manish Sisodia. And they are all sharing pieces of this pie, using the money from kickbacks from this entire deal.
So anyway, all of that is being investigated. I am going to stick to the straight and narrow, Charu Pragya. And the specific question is that the CBI has filed its first charge sheet. It has named Abhishek Bonipalli, it has named Vijay Nair, it has named other businessmen. Why has it not named Manish Sisodia? He is accused number 1. Why has he not been named? If he has destroyed 4 phones, if Ajay Arora is a close associate of his, if Dinesh Arora is a close associate of his, why is he not in the charge sheet? Accused number 1.
Yes. Right. So, Padmaja, from talking from a strictly legal point of view, multiple charge sheets can be filed, supplementary charge sheets can be filed, the investigation is still going on, it is not closed. So for anybody to say that he's been given a clean chit, it's misleading the people. It's only misleading and nothing else. So while this investigation goes on, 6 people have been arrested, all 6 of them on the fringes of life of Mr. Sisodia, all 6 of them found to have regular contacts with Mr. Sisodia. One of them even actually turns into an approver for the government. So in the times to come, we will see the news tightening, we will see more and more evidence put in front of the public by the ED, and then everybody will know the truth.
Okay, and let me just read out further information about this destruction of evidence, Mr. Sethi. And talking specifically of Amit Arora, what does the ED say? Shri Amit Arora has destroyed his mobile phone 11 times, indicating destruction of evidence. The details of the digital devices as per IMEI analysis of call data record destroyed used in the last year by varied accused suspects are summarized, and then they have given all of the numbers, point number 1. But in all of this, don't you find it particularly worrying that here is an accused called Amit Arora who is going around telling people हम ही government हैं? भाई कौन है ये आदमी जो कि जा करके लोगों को बता रहा है हम ही government हैं? इनको तो वोट नहीं दिया था दिल्ली वालों ने. सेठी जी
नहीं, कौन है अमित अरोड़ा? कौन? आप एक बात बताइए, आज से पहले मेजर डिस्कशन ये थी कि पूरा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ता, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लीडर ये कह रहे थे कि आरोपी नंबर 1, आरोपी नंबर 1, आरोपी नंबर 1 मनीष सिसोदिया, उनका चार्जशीट में नाम ही नहीं है। अगर ईडी को और सीबीआई को ये लगता था कि उनके मोबाइल फोन के अंदर इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है तो उन्होंने अपनी कस्टडी में क्यों नहीं लिए, उनको इंटेरोगेट क्यों नहीं करा? आप इस बात को समझे ना, जितने बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता यहाँ आके कोई ईडी अफसर बन जाए,
उन्होंने डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया, यही तो बोल रहा है रिमांड नोट। और अगर आपके ऊपर इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है, अपने फोन को
बताइए ना, 36 लोग हैं, अगर 3-4 फोन,
सेठी साहब, या आप फेंक दोगे उसको?
नहीं, अगर वो डिस्ट्रॉय भी, मैडम अगर डिस्ट्रॉय भी हो गए तब भी उसका डाटा रिकवर हो सकता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि रिकवर नहीं हो सकता। आप इस बात को समझिए ना। उनको अगर जितने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ता और लीडर वो सीबीआई मनीष सिसोदिया जी के पीछे लगे थे, आरोपी नंबर 1, आज अरेस्ट हो रहे हैं, कल अरेस्ट हो रहे हैं, आज चार्जशीट में उनका नाम नहीं है। हु इज अमित अरोड़ा? हाउ इज कनेक्टेड विद आम आदमी पार्टी? अगर उसके अंदर
any amount of claims or charge sheets or remand notes put out by the CBI and the ED, both investigating this case, but till the time that there is a charge sheet where somebody who's facing severe allegations is actually named in, the BJP will always be asked, is this just a fishing expedition? But in the midst of all this, what should truly worry us is that there are private individuals who have the gall and the authority at this time to say, hum hi government hai. If that indeed happened, they must be made an example of. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, Charu Pragya, for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
Mr. Salve, we are talking about transparency. Do you believe the government too needs to be transparent? For instance, if it chooses to return a file to the Supreme Court, collegium of a judge who has been nominated or cleared for appointment, should the public also not know why the file is being returned? To take this a step further, should the IB report and the background checks, etc., made public? Should it work the other way also?
This whole process, quite frankly, and if I may not mince my words, this whole process has become pretty hopeless. I'm sorry to say so. Today, the IB gives a report. Today you ask a person to become a judge. You ask the IB to report. The IB reports partly gossip. Do you want that to come in public domain? I don't want my personal life to come in public domain. I may not even want to be a judge. So this whole process, this whole system is in...
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
The Karnataka Waqf Board announced that it will establish self-funded schools and colleges in the state. Students will be allowed to wear hijabs to classes in these institutions. Challenging the Citizenship Amendment Act in the Supreme Court, DMK alleged that it leaves out Tamil refugees and is against India's secular fabric as it relates to only 3 countries and is confined to only 6 religions. The Enforcement Directorate arrested alleged Sisodia aide Amit Arora in connection with the alleged Delhi excise policy scam. He was later produced in court. In the matter of TMC leader Anubrata Mondal's bail plea in the alleged cattle scam case, CBI has sought time to file a reply. The next hearing is set to take place on the 16th of December. After a ransomware attack crippled AIIMS services, AIIMS Delhi has decided to get 4 new servers from the DRDO.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
हम ये भी पूछना चाहेंगे आज कि जब आपकी पार्टी एक रेप अक्यूज्ड राम रहीम को पैरोल पे छोड़ती है और मंत्रीगण
कोर्ट कौन चलाता है?
पैरोल कौन देता है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
पैरोल कौन दे रहा है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
A special court has rejected Nawab Malik's bail plea. He was booked in a money laundering case with connection to fugitive gangster Dawood Ibrahim. The Economic Offences Wing of the Delhi Police has arrested Pinky Irani in relation to the Sukesh Chandrasekhar case. She was arrested earlier by the Enforcement Directorate. Actor Vijay Deverakonda appeared before the Enforcement Directorate in connection with his recently released movie Liger. This comes after a Telangana top politician also came under the scanner for alleged illegal investment in the movie. The Kerala cabinet has decided to introduce a bill where chancellors of state universities will be experts from the field of education. This will effectively remove the governor as the chancellor. Table tennis legend and Commonwealth Games medalist Achanta Sharat Kamal was awarded the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award, the country's highest sporting honour, by President Draupadi Murmu.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़ीग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे। देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारी यात्रा का, आज तक की हमारी राजनीतिक यात्रा का एक वादा रहा है देश की जनता से। और न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी, संविधान सभा ने भी देश भर के विधानमंडलों को और संसद को ये सलाह दी है कि जब भी उचित समय आए यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड इस देश में आना चाहिए, क्योंकि किसी भी पंथ निरपेक्ष राष्ट्र के लिए, राज्य के लिए धर्म के आधार पर कानून नहीं होने चाहिए। अगर राष्ट्र और राज्य पंथ निरपेक्ष है तो धर्म के आधार पर कानून कैसे हो सकते हैं? हर धर्म के मानने वाले के लिए एक कानून होना चाहिए जो देश के विधानमंडल और देश की संसद पारित करे। परंतु ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम सबने संविधान सभा के